해피 발렌타인데이. All right, gamers, welcome back. We are here and getting ready for top 8 of the Full Grip Games $3,000 cash doubleheader. Well, no, it's a $6,000 cash doubleheader.
$3,000 today.
That's so true, Riley.
Yes.
We are getting ready for our top 8 playoff for the $3,000 standard event. We've been streaming for 10 hours so far today. Can you tell? I'm feeling a little frazzled. But the fun is just beginning because top 8 is about to get started here momentarily. There are just a couple of matches that are still wrapping up from our Swiss rounds. But I did go downstairs and talk to a few players. Sanjay, who is in our finals, last time did not end up making top 8. Decided to play Dragapult, same as his teammate Josh, and played against 4 Gardevoir decks and went 2-2 against them.
Well,
so,
yeah.
Didn't have the
Sounds
best
tough.
outing against Gardevoir. I got to talk to them about that matchup a little bit, and it just seems like you can win was kind of the consensus, but like a lot of the lines they were talking about seemed kind of copish, but there are definitely routes. There are routes. I think
You
Sanjay
gotta have some faith in your deck.
Sanjay was playing a jamming tower in his list, so like I think that he said that
to knock out the Clefairies through Bravery.
I guess that can help, right? So
Because otherwise the Bravery Charm math doesn't really matter that much.
exactly. So I think it's mainly for that. We do see Devin, who is our Journey Together 3K champion, is back at it again. Another top 8. This time is playing Charizard Dragapult.
Yeah, Devin going beast mode at these full grip games, release weekend tournaments, and it with another interesting deck under his belt. Devin is definitely going to be a player to watch out for when they age up into the Masters division.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, just like total beast mode in the seniors age division at regional championships and stuff, and and then coming to these full grip events and already kind of showing that he could play with the Masters, as good as anybody. So gonna be a player to watch. Devin, who won the $1,000 grand prize at our last Journey Together 3K, and then I'm seeing some Guardy. I saw like there's at least one Guardy that's locked for top 8. There is at least there's at least the one Charizard Dragapult so far from Devin, but everything else is still very much kind of in the air.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of ties, and we kind of got to experience some of that from our streamed matches so far.
Did.
But that was not an experience unique to the stream table, Riley. That was an experience that was happening across the board. And again, a lot of that has to do with 50-minute best of 3 just being the kind of standard for major tournament play in the Pokemon TCG, combined with the fact that you've got decks with grindier win conditions, more setup-based strategies, more stage 2s, more evolving. I mean, keep in mind, we're coming out of an age of the Pokemon TCG where it was tag teams, which are literally basics, and then Vs and VMAXs, which are glorified stage 1s, right?
Yeah.
So like, no, now we're actually like setting up like it's proper Pokemon TCG. We've got like, disruption, we've got real disruption, we've got real comeback potential, we've got real setup strategies, and the format's actually starting to look pretty good.
Yeah.
But the thing is when the individual games become like better, best of 3 becomes worse.
In some ways, yeah. I mean, you could have, in theory, a format that has good games, but maybe they're faster paced. Like, even just within the confine, like, not necessarily faster paced in turns. Mm-hmm. Maybe the turns themselves are faster and you have more turns. You know what I'm saying? So, like, it's not necessarily like a linear one versus the other type of thing. I will say, though, a lot of the popular decks that we saw at this tournament, Gardevoir, we saw Grimmsnarl, we saw Dragapult, and those are all not only just kind of cerebral decks that require some thinking and routing about how you're going about your matchup, which might slow down pace of play slightly, but they're also decks that very commonly play from behind. And I think that feeds into the kind of cope that we were talking about before, where, okay, well, I have this like 10% line to win if I do this and my opponent whiffs and this and this and this and all. And when enough players like buy into that mentality because they're playing these comeback style decks, you see what you get here.
You see what you get, right? Like players are playing comeback decks. They don't want to scoop on turn 2.
No.
Right. I'm playing a comeback deck. What do you mean?
Yeah, of course I'm going to be behind.
Exactly. So I have always said that if you want to finish 3 games in the Pokemon TCG in a 50-minute best of 3, one of those games better be scooped on turn 2. That's just what it is. You ain't finishing 3 complete games unless some real crazy stuff is happening at the table. But for the most part, you got to scoop one of those games on turn 2.
And we're seeing that pretty consistently. I feel like games, when we have a nice full game 1, it's ending around 25 to 30 minutes in.
Oh, yeah.
Which aligns with our best of 1 format.
Which
right?
aligns with the way the game has been designed since day 1, right? It's always been 30 minutes.
Right.
Yeah.
It's designed to be kind of like a 30-minute experience to play a game of Pokemon.
Right.
And so 50 minutes implicitly is not enough.
It's never been enough. It's
Right.
never been enough, not even close.
For 3 full games. And
Yeah.
it just simply wasn't designed to be 3 full games.
No, it never was. 50-minute best of 3 is something that TPCI just ported from Magic the Gathering.
And to be honest, like when 50-minute best of 3 first came onto the scene, you know, you had things like donks going around, turn 1 attacks. And like, you know, maybe if there are 2 games that end in either playing getting donked and you get 1 actual game, maybe that's fine. You know, maybe that works out, you know, and you actually do get 3 full games in that specific circumstance. You know, it's that balancing act. You know, how can you properly account for variance and allow people to play the maximum games of Pokemon possible versus being timely and having the most fair rounds possible.
Anybody who says that 50-minute best of 3 is unassailable, the 2 best players in the game both hate it. Like, I'm just saying, you gotta say there's more of a conversation to be had than people who are just like Jesse. I love you, Jesse, but your take that single games can't be competitive, that's crazy. So the Super Bowl's not competitive. You're nuts. That's a horrible argument, bro. The Super Bowl's the best of what? Yeah, that's a stupid argument. It's just a stupid argument, right? Like, you can't say like, no, I mean, right. They're like, oh, well, in my 1 game I had a player that was hurt. You know, it's just like, no, it's just, no, it's not, something's not. You said best of 3 is way more competitive. That's what you said. That's literally what you said here in the chat, bro. Best of 3 is way more competitive. That's what you said. Well, I disagree. I disagree. It's competitive in a different way. The 50-minute best of 3 situation makes it so that the game is not just about playing the game in front of you. It's about also playing the time, right? And it's like, it makes it kind of, I would say, as someone who's like kind of an idealist in a lot of ways, like, it makes it so that the game becomes less about the Pokemon cards and also more about winning 2 games in 50 minutes, which is a challenge in of itself, right? So like, which requires you to do things like scoop on turn 2, right? Which is part of it. But like,
counterpoint, the Super Bowl is not competitive because it's scripted, not because best of 1 isn't a competitive format. So that's my take.
I hate it when I prize my quarterback in the Super Bowl or they get hurt. All right, there's more parallels. Yeah, you guys are haters, but I'm just saying it's there's certainly more discussion to be had. Both Tord Riklev and Jason Klasinski hate 50 minutes best of 3. Jason Klasinski said he retired from play because of 50-minute best of 3. Full stop. Tord has very famously came out in absolute opposition of the current 50-minute best of 3 situation. You got the players who are the best players in the game, and it's because the 50-minute best of 3 rules, you can game them in ways that are unsportsmanlike, right? And it's like, and the best players of the world are the players are going to be players who are skirting that line closely, as we've kind of seen come to fruition, right? So it is what it is. It's unjudgeable. Because you can never get into someone's head and be like, are you slow playing or are you thinking?
Well, just you wait, Andrew. We get enough brain chips in people and we will.
And I will be able to get into your head and know if you're slow playing or you're thinking.
As soon as you start thinking that stuff, you're DQ'd.
Yeah, it's unjudgeable, right? Because at any point, Piper Lapine was in here earlier today. It was saying that she often plays decks where in game 3, she doesn't want the game to conclude. That happens all the time, right? And anytime you get into a situation where you want a game to not conclude, where one player wants a game to not conclude, like, then you start getting into these really weird situations where it's like, the way that the game is designed, it should be designed in a way that both players are encouraged to finish the game in front of them, right? So I think anybody who just like kind of writes off the argument and says that our 50-minute best of 3 situation is perfect, I think you have no imagination. Surely there is a better way than the current system, which is, it's run its course. 10 years, it's been a long time. I think there's definitely other ways that we could explore it, as both of the top players to ever play this game have both voiced adamantly, right? So Anyway, I'm not saying the best of one is perfect either. I'm just saying that they're best of a 50-minute best of 3 ain't it. That's all I'm saying. So, and I think Top Cut should always be best of 3. I also think that. I think Japan's like single game Top Cut. I think that's crazy.
I think the constraint around best of 3 is, I think, less around playing 2 out of 3. It's around 50 minutes to do that, right? Like in a theoretical world where we had infinite time to play Pokemon, we want every match to be as decisively in favor of choosing the most definitive victor as possible, right? But 50 minutes is not enough time to do that effectively.
Right. And I'm just saying, like, you guys can spit at me all you want, the 50-minute best of 3 lovers, but just know that the best players in the game disagree with you. That's both Tord and Jason, okay? Tord and Jason both think that 50-minute best of 3 sucks.
Yeah.
Both of them.
Just pull out the Tord and Jason card.
I'm just gonna keep pulling out the Tord and Jason card. They both think it sucks, bro. So like, you're not just arguing with me, bro. You are arguing with them too.
But you're way easier to argue with because you're here.
I know,
and
dude.
You're kind of loud.
I know, dude.
It's really easy to kind of get in your head. So.
I know, for sure. Anyways, we're just spitting and getting us reacclimated to the new stream. We cut stream at the end of Swiss rounds. We booted up the stream again for top 8. Top 8 is going to be getting underway any minute now, and it should be an awesome time. So hold tight. We're gonna go gather the information as far as like what players have made top 8, what decks are in top 8. I'm gonna go do all of that research right now, and I'm gonna get that information for you to present. Okay.
We know you're all super excited to see what's ahead in the top cut of this tournament. So if you hold on for a quick break, we'll be back with more of that info for you to eat up and see what the Destined Rivals format really has in store for us.
All right, gamers, the time is here. Top 8 of the Full Grip Games Destined Rivals 3K release weekend event. Our top 8 has been decided, and they are preparing to face off in a top 8 bracket to see which one of them will take home the grand prize of $1,000 US cash, while the other top finishers will get a slice of that $3,000 prize pool.
And I'll tell you what, nobody's going to complain about being paid to play Pokemon cards, so huge congrats to everybody who's made it this far in the tournament. In our top 8, we have some familiar faces, many of whom we've seen over the course of the day on stream. We have fan favorite Devin, the winner of the Journey Together 3K here at Full Grip Games, rocking that Charizard Dragapult deck. A handful of Raging Bolts. We've seen Carter and Zach both on stream here today.
And Tiger and Chase and Lion.
And Tiger and Jason Line, yeah. We have Trevor with his Marnie's Grimmsnarl, the only Destined Rivals archetype to make it into top 8, but it was the one that Andrew and I were rooting for in that Grimmsnarl. And then the rest of the top 8 is that Charizard Terrabox and the Gardevoir decks that we've seen earlier today.
And we saw Grant earlier on stream, with 2 ties. We said he cannot afford to lose again. He did end up losing one more and is the ninth place finisher. Clean cut though
at X and 2, which is pretty rare to see. I feel like an X2 slice off there, but the tie rate was just good enough to allow all those X2s to squeeze in.
And huge thanks to Swizzerton over on Twitch with the 2,500 bits. Huge thank you to everybody who subbed up over on Twitch throughout the stream today as well. I really appreciate the love. Thank you so much. Thank you everybody on YouTube for watching the stream today and joining Riley and I as we commentate over this marathon of an event all weekend. A $3,000 cash event today, a $3,000 cash Gym Leader Challenge event tomorrow. Jesse Parker hopping in there with the 5 gifted subs. Let's give it up for Jesse as well. Thank you, Jesse, for those 5 gifteds. And thank you all so much for being here, for supporting the content, for supporting the shop at Full Grip Games. It really makes a huge difference. So thank you guys so much for allowing us to create this content that we love by supporting the content with your donations and viewership and with your shopping at fullgripgames.com. Thank you so much. We have got our top 8 match going to be getting underway here in just a moment, and we are going to be showcasing that Marnie's Grimmsnarl deck. Once again, 3 Raging Bolt in top 8, 2 Gardevoir decks, both squeaking in at 6 and 2, a Zard Terrabox, and our top seed Charizard Dragapult. So it should be pretty exciting to see how this top 8 plays out.
Taking a glance over at the table, see a familiar face in Zach on the right. We saw his lightning fast plays earlier today, and Trevor will be his opponent with his fearsome Marnie's Grimmsnarl deck. Andrew, I don't know about you, but I'm so hyped to see what this top 8 has in store for us. 75 minutes, best of 3. I think we'll be a little bit more likely to see a complete set of Pokemon coming in this round. 75
minutes, that's enough time to play 3 games of Pokemon, definitely. And that's something I always love to see, because I like best of 3. I mean, best of 3 is great. When you're playing the Pokemon TCG, it's fantastic when you have the time to do it. And top 8, there's always time for best of 3. When you make it to top 8, your players get a little bit more time to really think out their game plans. It really is. It's the best, and there's a reason why why all the action just gets better when you get to Top Cut. So these are the best players from the day with the best decks from the day. And
fighting for glory, right?
Indeed.
Unrestricted by time, at least to the same extent.
And our top 8 match is underway, Riley. So let's get right into this thing. We have got Zach on the right, playing Raging Bolt, and Trevor on the left with Marnie's Grimmsnarl EX, the lone deck featuring new cards from Destined Rivals in top 8 of our event. Riley, do you have any insight as to how this matchup may end up working out?
I really feel like it could go either way. We have the Grimmsnarl, of course, is so threatening to these Noctowl engines. But on the flip side, Zach has access to not only the Teal Mask Ogerpon to take one-hit KOs. Zach has access to take those one-hit knockouts, has access to Raging Bolt EX, of course, to take those one-hit knockouts. And with the power of things like that little Raging Bolt to snipe off the Impidimps as they spawn into play, Zach has a lot of routes to take prizes at every stage of this game here. Grimmsnarl, of course, being weak to that grass type, similar to Charizard, the new typical weakness for these dark Pokemon in grass. And Zach having a pretty solid turn 1 too, getting that Teal Dance down and multiple Hoot Hoot into play. I mean, what more could you want?
Yeah, it's a very strong opening here from Zach, and I do suspect that this is going to be the Teal Mask Ogerpon show, and it's crazy because early on in the tournament, I was looking at the top tables. There was a lot of Marnie's Grimmsnarl. It was like all kind of like every other match. It looked like towards the top was a Marnie's Grimmsnarl deck, and then Natalie said that a lot of them ended up playing against each other and kind of cannibalizing each other. And then we do see lots of Raging Bolt decks in top 8, and it might be that Raging Bolt has a good matchup against the Marnie's Grimmsnarl deck. So I'm anxious to see how that plays out.
That said, Andrew, look at those Frostlass, or Snowrunts rather, which will soon evolve into Frostlass, hitting Trevor's board. With something like a TM Evo, Trevor could aggressively go for those Frostlass. And look at Zach's board. Almost every single Pokemon on it either has an ability or will evolve into a Pokemon that has an ability. Those Frostlass could easily start to wreak havoc on Zach's board with damage counter placement.
Definitely. And that's why I feel like the Marnie's Grimmsnarl deck really wants some sort of single prize play for being able to play the kind of Frostlass game, right? Like, what are you doing while you're letting those Frostlass rack up their damage counters? Is it Badoo? Are we doing item lock?
I feel like a Badoo route actually could be pretty good here, especially with starting that Slitherwing, I believe it is, in the active. Now,
yeah, that's not the Pokemon you want in the active spot necessarily against this deck.
No, definitely not. And Zach already does have 3 different ability-based Pokemon in play. Imagine a Badoo plus those Frostlass racking up the damage while you slowly evolve into Grimmsnarls to knock out those eventual Teal Mask Ogerpons. Of course, not able to get that Badoo on the first turn, which means Zach does have unrestricted access to items, and with Noctowl as well, can pick whatever items he wants to access.
Exactly. We got Jewel Seeker here. Noctowl, gonna hand select whatever trainer cards Zach wants out of his deck, thanks to that Teal Mask Ogerpon in play, providing the Terra-type Pokemon. And, you know, having that Slitherwing in the active is certainly kind of annoying. It damages itself when it attacks. Not great against a deck that really wants to spread damage. You're kind of like helping them out. You're hooking them up with, like, you know, a decent chunk of damage there that if it attacks twice, it's going to knock itself out. So not great. Probably want to move that thing. We've got Area 0 under depths, and you know what? Another Jewel Seeker. Why not? Sure. 2 more cards
And
from
2
the
nest
deck.
balls.
And we need some more basic Pokemon. So that's what the nest balls are going to be able to provide.
Now,
Latias and Bolt. And the Latias will allow that hefty Slitherwing to retreat out of the active spots, even though it's kind of huge, right?
yeah. And Latias itself kind of huge, as we saw earlier today. 2 retreat costs on
2
that
retreat
thing.
costs. Who would have known?
I like this from Zach, though, just targeting down those potential Frostlass, recognizing... I mean, look at his board right now. So many abilities in play. That damage would rack up unbelievably fast if Trevor was able to get both of those Frostlass evolved.
Yeah, I'm thinking that the all-out blitz from Zach makes a lot of sense. We got the Fan Rotom leading the charge, something that we saw from Zach earlier in the day, and something that he has been able to, no doubt, do to great success in the tournament so far.
Here we go.
Oh, heck yeah. Rare Candy Grim. Let's go, dude.
And we've been talking earlier today about how these Grimmsnarl decks just always seem to have a rare candy ready to go.
I'm telling you, dude, they always do. And they only play like 2.
I know. Yeah, so Trevor proving that to be the case, going in immediately with that rare candy Grimmsnarl. And Trevor does only play 2 rare candy based on his list here in front of me. So yeah, super nice to have immediate access to that, accelerate some energy into play. And now, if you could potentially get a energy onto the Monkey Dory, because Punk Up fully powers up your Grimmsnarl. You have the Frostlass on the bench, starting to rack up that damage.
Yeah, and we got a Spike Mooth that you could play. You would bump one of Zach's Pokemon, so Zach will probably get rid of one of the Noctowl, I have to imagine.
I think one of the Noctowls, the Slitherwing is tempting, but it's not getting damage on it from Frostlass.
Yeah, it kind of has to be Noctowl, right?
Yeah, agreed.
The Slitherwing's annoying to have him play, but at least you got Latias.
Yeah, it's just another free retreater.
Yeah.
You know, Latias is insane.
Exactly.
You know, Spike Mooth, I'm thinking of Morgrim would come into play. Morgrim makes a lot of sense here. Or an Impidimp, sure. Maybe already has access to a Morgrim in hand. With only 2 rare candy, only got 1 more after this, so you imagine you're trying to evolve through the Morgrim if you're getting another Grimmsnarl out. But hey, with the secret box, Andrew, anything's possible.
That's so true, Riley.
Oh, yep, no, that's the Morgrim, so never mind. And here we go. We're going to see that Shadow Bullet taking a knockout on the Rotom, 30 damage onto the Raging Bolt, and 10 damage to the Noctowl, Latias, and Ogerpon.
Yeah, 30 damage onto the Raging Bolt is pretty heads up. Just saying, like, okay, I see that's probably going to be the next attacker that's coming my way. You know, if not, it's going to be the Teal Mask, which is already getting damage counters placed on it by Frostlass. So
yeah, and with the pace of damage counters from Frostlass, the Teal Mask will be damaged enough that'll be KO'd going into Zach's turn. If, for example, let's say Zach knocks out this Grimmsnarl. If Trevor gets up a new Grimmsnarl and hits for 180, it'll be 210 damage right when it's returning to Zach, which will KO the Teal Mask Ogerpon and deny Pheasantipity. So potentially some really good options here for Trevor.
Funny to see Zach taking advantage of the Spike Mooth gym just to check his deck, maybe reorder it if he wants to after the Iono.
Potentially good cards in the hand.
Yep. Nothing to stop Zach from using that Spike Mooth gym. After all, he could have a Marnie's Pokemon in his deck.
The game doesn't know your 60 cards, so you're always allowed to search your deck off of cards that don't explicitly forbid you from doing so.
Yep. So heads up play there from Zach, reordering the deck after the Iono, knowing that some valuable cards were tossed to the bottom before slamming Pheasantipity EX with the flip the script ability to draw 3 more cards. Just kind of trying to ensure that Zach will get the cards he wants off of that draw. I do see a Jamming Tower in the hand. Prime Catcher as well.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't think either of those are particularly helpful in this particular scenario. You really just want to get energy onto this Ogerpon so you can swing for that big one-hit KO. Don't want to gust around it. Just get that nice Teal Mask Ogerpon.
Yeah, going to be a big knockout for Teal Mask Ogerpon here. That Myriad Leaf Shower attack does 30 damage plus 30 more damage for each energy attached to both active Pokemon. That's 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 180 times 2, 360 damage with weakness for a massive knockout. And that is the tough part about playing a Grass Weak Pokemon in the Pokemon TCG right now, is that there is this really strong grass guy floating around.
Yeah, and so easy to get it powered up. It just kind of naturally does it over the course of 2 turns.
And with cards like Earthen Vessel in the format, it's so easy to get like the double energy that you want. Noctowl makes it pretty much even more guaranteed.
And there's that Bravery Charm.
Bravery Charm going to make it so that Zach's Teal Mask Ogerpon has a max HP of 260 damage, and then we will need to see those Frostlass pings.
Let's not forget those.
Frostlass. Thank you.
Yep, so that's going to be 2 damage counters on the Latias, 1 on the Fez, and 2 on those Monkey Dories each.
Yep.
So this Bravery Charm is actually big. It does prevent that one-hit knockout, pseudo one-hit knockout with the Grimmsnarl. That, I feel like if you're Trevor, though, maybe that's fine. You probably are assuming whatever Grimmsnarl you attack with is getting one-hit KO'd anyway.
God, it feels like this deck wants a single prize option so bad.
Like, it might be fine. It might math out like perfectly. If Trevor can get up a third Grimmsnarl, hit this, spread some damage,
right?
Get the Frostlass counters, get Monkey Dory stuff going, and then hit one more time. That's probably enough to take the remaining 5 prizes.
Is it enough? Yeah. All right. So let's think this out, right? Okay. Assume we have one more Grimmsnarl coming in, swinging for 180 against the there's 3 monkey, no energy on them. So sad. Assume there's another Grimmsnarl coming up. Swing for 180. 180, 190 with the Frostlass, plus 20, that's 210. But that's not going to do it with the Bravery Charm, right? So that thing's just sitting there, ready for another knockout. You get to do 30 damage to one of the bench Pokemon. Say you do the 30 damage to the Noctowl, because that thing's going to have to go down in order to even up your prize trade, right? So we're doing 30, 40 damage there with the Frostlass, 60. That thing's going to need one more hit. The Bravery Charm's a problem, it seems like.
It is, but I think if you get an attachment on a Monkey Dory this turn, then you're probably able
to do it, right?
And then you got to keep in mind that'd be a second Monkey Dory on the following turn potentially. So the damage can start to really rack up.
Yes, it can, which is why I said that like this deck just melts the Noctowls. They just disappear.
Yeah, and definitely knocking out that Noctowl is going to be a key part of Trevor's plan here. Interesting to go for the double dark on the Impidimp when you're struggling to get the energies onto your monkeys.
Well, some lists play Energy Switch.
Okay. Yeah, an Energy Switch here would be really nice.
Yes, because that allows you to get like multiple monkeys powered up in a single turn. It also allows you
We have the technology.
There's an Energy Switch in there?
There's one Energy Switch in this list. Yeah, so Trevor could move that one energy, that extra energy off the Impidimp and get one of his Monkey Dory going. Still has attachment for turn as well. Though I don't see an energy in hand. Is that one right there?
There is one.
Okay. This could be big.
There we go. There's one monkey. Energy Switch, two monkeys, bro.
Wow, double monkey this turn. I can't say I expected that.
Oh, and it's all starting to come together, dude.
Yes. Let's see it. so much flexibility now on Trevor's side. So if you stack all that damage on the Ogerpon, I think you're still a little bit short. You'd put 60 plus the 180. It looks like just moving it to the Noctowl. I think that's probably fine. And you probably have to spread to the Raging Bolt. Okay, no, just spreading it onto the Noctowl. So
the Noctowl will get knocked out between turns with the Frostlass pings. And now, I mean, you are looking at, it is possible to go Grimmsnarl Countercatcher.
Yeah, Grimmsnarl Countercatcher is going to be game.
Yeah. I mean, that's nuts, right? That's nuts. That's crazy.
Grimmsnarl Countercatcher is pretty definitively game here.
This looks like the best spread deck in the format, dude.
Monkeys are good.
That's what I'm saying. Like, this looks like the better spread deck than Dragapult. I mean, your damage with the stage 2 is slightly decreased, but your damage to the board is vastly increased, it feels like.
Yeah, or at least has the potential to, especially if your opponent is also has multiple ability Pokemon that you can snipe down with that Frostlass.
Yeah. Yeah, this deck is crazy, but we didn't see too many of them make top 8, but you could definitely see the lines are here, especially with so many Countercatcher in deck and so many damage counters built up on board.
I think I really would have preferred, though, not taking the Noctowl KO this past turn and instead softening up the Ogerpon as much as possible. Like, get this Ogerpon to...
Yeah.
Imagine if this Ogerpon was at 250 right now.
Yes.
And being knocked out coming into your turn.
Yes, I agree. Okay. Because then you'd be ripping 2 off the prizes here too. Because between turns, it'd knock out. And then that's like +2 to your hand to help you complete the combo that you need to win.
Yeah. You can still draw those prizes now with Monkey, but like you gave your opponent access to Fez last turn, for example, for when you didn't necessarily have to. So at this point, Trevor, I mean, frankly, just needs that Grimmsnarl.
Needs the nasty, right? It's got to be Rare Candy Grimmsnarl Countercatcher. I mean, that'll do it. Right?
It will.
That's it. With Spikemuth Gym in play, the Countercatcher's in hand. All you have to do is find Rare Candy. Rare Candy, and
Rare Candy.
Don't use it unless you have Rare Candy in your hand, dog. Please. Please don't use this unless you have Rare Candy in your hand. Oh, it's over. It's over, chat.
How do you mean?
Because he's getting that means he has Rare Candy. It's Arvin. Yup.
Oh, wow.
It's over.
Yeah. Does he have a way to retreat the Frostlass?
I sure hope so.
Okay, just making sure.
Yes.
Okay. Thinking through it, but yeah, there's the Countercatcher, and that is game.
That's game. My God, Riley.
And imagine if there were 2 Frostlass in play.
I know. One of them got just absolutely
the triple
murked.
monk. Oh my goodness.
This is absolutely disgusting. I feel like I'm witnessing just the most disgusting thing ever. That was absolutely ridiculous. The 4 prize turn swinging 9 damage counters wherever he wanted from his board with Monkey Dory, and then Marnie's Grimmsnarl, Shadow Bullet for game. I mean, just ridiculous stuff, right?
That was nuts.
Absolutely nuts.
Yeah. Even in the face of back-to-back one-hit KOs on Grimmsnarl, still was able to put together the pieces to piece together that game.
Crazy, dude. Absolutely crazy. I can't believe it. It seemed like the Grimmsnarl deck was going to struggle getting those Grimmsnarls just knocked out.
Especially with how
one hit.
solid Zach's start was, too.
Yeah.
Taking those early KOs, had the Teal Mask ready immediately for the response, had the Bravery Charm on the Teal Mask to make it that much more tanky, but wasn't able to close that game fully before the damage overwhelmed his board.
Absolutely crazy. Wow. I mean, the Frostlass really putting in the work there. You could tell even playing against a deck like Raging Bolt, right? Where Raging Bolt places no damage counters on your board. Everything is getting one hit KO'd. Everything, right? So Monkey Dory should hypothetically not get to ever place any damage counters against a Raging Bolt board. But that's why you pair it with the Frostlass. So you could damage your own Pokemon and then move those damage counters over to the opponent's board. And if you could get 2 Frostlass set up, then you're cooking even more damage counters. We saw those Adrenabrain abilities were somewhat nerfed in that game with just 1 Frostlass kind of doing 2 at a time.
Yeah.
But it was made up for the fact that there were 3 Monkey Dory in play, all taking damage counters. So just absolutely ridiculous. And honestly, Grimmsnarl taking down a matchup there in game 1 that I thought would be much more difficult for it to take down considering the Teal Mask Ogerpon.
Goes to show, Andrew, weakness is not the end-all be-all in the Pokemon TCG. It's a hurdle to overcome, but does not define the entirety of a matchup. And Trevor, with one of his interesting inclusions as his starter Pokemon in that Iron Bundle. Iron Bundle is a way to push those Pokemon out of the active position for your opponent. And is that it? Monkey Dory, obviously a useful energy attachment, but with no other Pokemon in play, that's a little bit of a bummer. That said, none of Trevor's Pokemon are actually vulnerable to being KO'd by a Rotom right now.
This is true, and if Zach does punch a Pokemon with Fan Rotom,
just more damage.
Yes, that's more damage to move with Monkey Dory. You hit me, I hit you. So we've got Earthen Vessel coming down from Zach, and we'll see what Zach is eyeing up here in his deck. I see Ditto maybe getting a look, so it could be some early aggro with Ditto. Obviously, we've got the Fan Call Rotom in the active spot, so Fan Call could go and fetch the Ditto. Ditto has Transformative Start, and then we've got whatever Pokemon Zach wants springing into the active. Trevor with no Impidimp down on turn 1 is unfortunate, but Trevor may be able to start playing catch up next turn, as I think I see an Arven in his hand.
Yeah, Arven could get that TM Evo. One interesting option that these Grimmsnarl decks have too is to TM Evo the double Frostlass into play before you even prioritize your Morgrims or Grimmsnarls, and just really rack up those damage counters insanely quickly with an explosive double Frostlass turn. So here we go, getting that Ditto. Again, Transformative Start allows Zach to pivot into whatever option he wants, be it a Hoot Hoot or a Raging Bolt. Potentially a Teal Mask Ogerpon is another good option.
Retreat into Ditto. Ditto's got the Transformative Start ability. You can discard the Ditto, swap it for any Pokemon you want out of your deck, and here is that Baby Bolt coming out of the deck.
Baby Bolt's an interesting choice here. I guess it's fine.
It places damage counters. I mean, in a way, it's going to do some spread, but I think the idea is that Zach wants to be chasing things down and knocking them out.
Well, the nice thing is, you're not under threat this next turn, and Frostlass, I believe, has 90 hit points, so it could be pretty easily knocked out by this Raging Bolt on a following turn and start to pick those off the board. I
do wonder if Zach just actually decides not to use Thunderburst Storm this turn.
Well, he can't, I don't think. He retreated the Rotom.
Oh, you're right. Retreated the Rotom. Yep. So it would be next turn looking for a 90 damage Thunderburst Storm.
Yep.
And that would be relevant, right?
Or 60. I think the Snorunt has 60 as well. So, or maybe even less than that. So the Snorunt could be knocked out.
And Zach kind of acknowledging that the Frostlass played a key role in his loss there in that last game, right? So the Raging Bolt does seem like it's a good option to chase down those Snowrunts and the Frostlass, especially early on. Trevor is probably Is Trevor playing? I guess I could just ask. You have the list.
Yeah.
Is Trevor playing a shaman?
Trevor is playing a shaman.
Okay.
So that is an option. It is another target for damage counters to be racked up on your own board. But with Monkey Dory's in play, that's probably fine.
Right, because you've got Monkey Dory to move it. So I wonder if we're going to see Trevor actually prioritize that at all. And you see that shaman getting flipped to the front of the deck. I mean, you kind of have to imagine that the
you
shaman...
have to appreciate the threat of the Raging Bolt.
You do, right? Because you see what your opponent's doing. The play is telegraphed. Yeah, here's the shaman. Shaman wasn't really revealed in game one, I don't think. So no way for Zach to know if the card is being played in the deck. But Zach is also forcing Trevor to get it out.
Right, it's a bench spot, committed.
Exactly.
And that's one less bench spot that could be a Monkey Dory. It's one less bench slot that could be a Snowrunt or a Frostlass. It's one less bench slot that could be an Impidimp.
Right.
And with stuff like this Iron Bundle in the active, which of course can be discarded on the bench, but currently it's stuck in the active, Trevor has a very clogged up board, so to speak. Not an Impidimp in sight.
Spike Muth Jim. So we are going to get to see an Impidimp.
Yes, I suspect an Impidimp will enter our line of sight now with the Spike Muth Jim.
Oh, and thank goodness for that. Really, the Grimmsnarl deck is not much without an Impidimp.
Yes, Impidimp, a key component of being a Grimmsnarl. So.
That's so true, Riley. So here's one. Ideally, you'd like two. There is a Hoot Hoot on Zach's bench, and a Terra Pokemon in play. So, I mean, it could be a Gust situation. I mean, that'd be pretty hard to...
prioritizing double Frostlass over a second Impidimp here. That's pretty interesting.
It is interesting, Riley. I mean...
I see the vision, though.
I do, because you're playing a single prize board, right? And just saying, well, I'm going to get both Frostlass out and just kind of start cooking with monkeys. Eventually, the bundle will be able to free up a bench spot when it goes to the bench. So that's fine. And if Zach decides to waste a Prime Catcher on the Impidimp, I think you're just okay with that.
You are definitely okay with that, I feel. Yeah, this play would have been really intense if Trevor was able to get that double Frostlass into play. But even without it, this is a really solid board state.
Yeah, TM Evo here would have gone nuts.
Yeah, only has access to the one, so not necessarily guaranteed to hit it.
No, right.
You do play those Arvins, but you're also playing a heavy research deck, and I think research most turns is going to be the preferable card to an Arvin just because of how much dig it provides you.
I got an Ultra Ball from Zach.
Who else but Noctowl?
And it's going to be a Jewel Seeker, Riley.
Eyeing up the Prime Catcher.
He said Trevor's probably okay with this use of Prime Catcher, if I had to guess. I don't think that Zach necessarily has a better line, right? You could, I guess, you could Sada or Crispin to the active and just knock out the active bundle, but that just seems
silly,
really bad. Yeah.
So here's an interesting question: are you just chasing down that Impidimp and letting both Frostlass get into play? Because you're denying the Grimmsnarl if you do that, but we saw how powerful the Frostlass was in the first game. Would double Frostlass be overwhelming? Zach, though, saying, nope, I'm going in on this Impidimp. Had enough.
Bolt down, Sada's Vitality. And here we go. Energy accelerated. Grass, Teal Dance. And the Fighting Energy.
Here we go. Dragon Headbutt.
Counter your Stadium. Area 0 Underdepths. 6 bench Pokemon down. And now we've got a Dragon Headbutt for 130 damage and the knockout. Zach taking the first prize of game 2. Trevor denied a Grimmsnarl for next turn, but has the option to get 2 Frostlass into play, which could prove to be quite tough for Zach's board.
Yeah, and I feel like something like double Frostlass, Iron Bundle, something new into the active, and Badoo this turn could be pretty good. If Trevor has access to that kind of combo.
We're just getting another single Impidimp down. Can't gust forever, Riley, right?
You can't. You can't.
Eventually, it's going to be...
I mean, these Raging Bolt decks are only playing one boss. Zach specifically is only playing one boss. So after the Prime Catcher and the boss, there's actually no more gusting happening. And we see that Iono here. Zach going down to a 5-card hand, though, with a Noctowl and a Sada in that hand. I don't think he'll be complaining going into this next turn. Trevor really wants to find at least the Frostlass to start getting damage onto the board. The body language isn't telling the best story, though, Andrew.
Yeah, no, that's looking like that's a whiff. I mean, really, like you said, there's one TM Evo in the deck, right? So, like, yeah, the odds of finding that off a card like Iono.
Yeah, or just, I mean, a single Frostlass, at least.
An Ultra Ball.
An Ultra Ball. Only play the one Ultra Ball. Yeah, really reliant on that Spike Move.
This game's a scooper. If we were playing 50 best of 3, this game should have been scooped up. The second you whiffed this turn, that's the scoop turn.
Potentially, yeah.
If it was 50 best of 3, I'm saying. 50,
yeah.
Well, 50 best of 3, then you're already, 15, you're already 30 minutes into the set. Oh, yeah, that had to be a scoop there.
Yeah.
Right? Because then you got like 15 minutes left to try and win the final game, and like that's just enough time.
Yeah.
So, but we're playing 75 minutes, best of 3 here in top 8, so Trevor's got more time to kind of explore this loss.
And let's not write him out fully yet. You never know with the combination of like Frostlass and Badoo what kind of crazy comebacks are possible.
It's true.
Now, we were criticizing these sorts of comebacks during Swiss when time was more limited, but because Trevor has a significantly higher chunk of time in the top cut, he could see if one of those routes is possible, at least for a couple turns. Another Iono coming down makes sense. Let's reduce Zach's hand size yet again. Zach's super wide on his board right now, which gives him the potential benefit of bumping Pokemon in the future if damage is built up into play. Could remove those Noctowls, for example, from his bench. Is that the first Frostlass?
We've got one, yes.
Is there an Impidimp, though?
There's an Artisan.
Okay, yeah, that does.
But then you're clearing like 2 Noctowls from play, right?
You are clearing those double Noctowls from play, and I really do feel like those Noctowls are going to be a critical component. But Zach can bump his own Noctowls at some point, too. Does play the one jamming tower.
He does, right.
So it's not like Zach's entirely reliant on Trevor to make that work for him.
Yes, and I think that Trevor kind of acknowledges that and is not going to play the Artisan, right? Still a really painful pass at this point. Trevor's deck has really been kind of spinning its wheels, not doing a whole lot. You really want that quick double Frostlass to start mounting up damage on Zach's side of the board. That's not what's happening right now.
Let's not forget the damage on the Shaman as well with that Frostlass. Okay, yeah, Judge caught it. Yeah, I fear with only one Frostlass in play, no Impidimps, this game might be too little too late. At this point is when Trevor can more seriously start considering a concession. Off this Arvin, could see something like a counter catcher and a rescue board. Maybe pull up something like a Raging Bolt with no energy on it. try and trap it, for example. That could be pretty good.
Yeah. Now there is the Maractus option, right? Does the list play a Maractus? Or we?
There is a Maractus. Yeah,
right.
He does
So the
play
Maractus. The Maractus option is something that could be a play, right? The Prime Catcher is down.
Yeah.
So Maractus stall does mean that there's potentially limited switch outs, but like, what are you Maractusing?
Yeah.
Every single one of these Pokemon attacks. And I think that's by design for Zach. Zach doesn't want any silly Pokemon in play. There's a reason there's 3 Raging Bolt here, okay?
Yeah. I will say the list only plays 3 Lightning Energy, and 2 of them are in play, so potentially one of them could be prized, and that would trap a Raging Bolt successfully.
Right.
That's an option. Item Lock would achieve a fairly similar effect, I think. I believe Zach has used both of his Area 0 Underdepths over the course of his game.
So we've got Badoo and a Monkey, so maybe not Maractus time yet, just maybe.
Or maybe ever.
Or maybe ever, yeah. And here comes, an Energyless Bolt.
Was that attachment a mistake on that Monkey? Because I don't see a rescue board. How is this Snorunt going to get out of the active? And it's not. Okay.
Nope.
Question answered. I mean, to be fair, like, I don't know if Zach has a way to get it out of the active right now.
There's no Latias.
No Latias in play. No Noctowl access.
Crispin, let's see. There is a Lightning in deck and a Fighting.
Okay.
But then there's another Raging Bolt, right? And could that get counter-catchered up?
Yeah. I mean, you're going to have to discard some energy somewhere to attack as well. This deck does play 3 copies, I believe, of Countercatcher. 2 copies of Countercatcher in Trevor's list. So, yeah, that final Raging Bolt is looking pretty appealing. Potentially pull up.
Now we're just getting word from the judges downstairs that Sean's Raging Bolt has defeated Chase's Gardevoir deck to move on to top 4. Congratulations to both players. And we'll be seeing Sean's Raging Bolt advance to top 4 of this event.
Okay, Andrew, here is an interesting juncture. All 3 Lightning Energies are accounted for. There's no room for Latias. Both of these Raging Bolts are potential trapped targets.
All right, dude. I'm seeing the vision,
dude.
I'm seeing the vision, dude. There's a reason that Grimmsnarl was forgone.
Now, you could start to set up the Grimmsnarl now, if you'd like. Maybe get an Impidimp into play this turn. But what I would really love to see is just hit Pollen and build up those damage counters on Zach's side of the board.
Yeah, if you get the 3rd Bolt into the active, I mean, you
don't even have to yet.
Well, here it comes.
To be honest, because I don't mind. Well, actually, I think I prefer saving the Countercatcher.
Why is that?
I also don't really like going for the knockout because the Lightning's already accounted for, right? There's 3 Lightnings. You maybe don't know the Lightning count, but if you're worried about a 4th Lightning, then the Raging Bolt being active still doesn't matter. Well, I guess it forces the Countercatcher's good. I take it back. Countercatcher's fine.
Yeah,
because it
like
dodges the Sada being a 1 card out.
Right.
What I don't like, though, is I don't like the damage being concentrated onto the Raging Bolt.
If this
I would
is
rather
your
just
stall
snipe
play,
around it.
Yeah, if this is your stall play, you are not putting damage onto the active, right?
Burst Roar.
Burst Roar, baby. All right, we're getting somewhere.
I mean, deck out is a serious consideration at this point.
Absolutely it is. Now, I think that Trevor needs to stop moving damage counters to that active, though. Like, put them elsewhere. Yeah, let other
snipe
things
those
tick.
Ogre Pawns down, potentially. Try and build up damage counters in a way that you are knocking things out at the moment that you can take your final couple prizes.
Exactly. Right, because you could start to get an Impidimp going at this point in the game, right?
Yeah. Although the Ogrepons are taking a good chunk of damage every turn with the Frostlass, so
you could go for second Frostlass. I wouldn't hate either.
Yeah, I don't. Is that possible at this point? He does play 2 Night Stretcher and
probably a Rod.
There's a Rod as well. Yeah, so needs to somehow get that Snorunt back if we want to go for double Frostlass. I wouldn't hate that angle, though. I think that would put a ton of pressure onto Zach.
All right, here's the Maractus. But there's not really anyone to stick with Maractus. That's my
I don't
problem
really like
with
Maractus coming into play here.
No, me neither. It is going to soak damage counters, which I guess would allow you to alternate who you remove damage counters off of so that you can maximize your 2 monkey in play.
Yeah, so you always have access to 3.
Yeah, right.
Oh, interesting.
So now he's saying no retreat. Okay, so he is saying that, like...
Is that better?
I don't know that it's better.
I think Itchy Pollen might be better.
Well, we see the grass going onto the active bolt. That kind of signifies retreat, right?
I mean, it's got a 3 retreat cost.
Yeah, but why is the grass there? Well, it's going to get burst roared, so like you might as well put it somewhere. And I think... does the Raging Bolt list play an energy retrieval? I think it's already down.
Is it already down? It does play 1.
I think it plays 1. That's really the only item card that could be impactful at this point. And
there's Night Stretchers.
Oh, and there's Night Stretchers. Okay. So that's why I'm almost like, yeah, item lock is actually, I think, just
fake?
No, I would have preferred to keep it at item lock. Well, I guess...
Okay, there is another Area 0. I thought maybe he burned both of them.
Well, no, the Maractus could be better. Because then you got like Sada Retreat, right?
Sada Retreat.
But here's Night Stretcher for the lightning, and there's a fight. And another Burst Roar. Oh my god.
Dude.
Well, now you go back into item lock.
I mean, if you can like boss up the Teal Mask Ogrepon or something.
Oh yeah, dude. Like, your resources are getting tight now.
I think getting Retreat Lock on that Ogrepon might be enough to seal it.
The Area Zeros are down. Both Area Zeros have been played, so that's not an out.
Oh, that's a jamming tower, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes.
They look so similar to me.
2 cards left in deck. Dude. Oh my god, dude! Is Trevor gonna do it? The Grim Snarlless game.
No snarling whatsoever. Another Retreat Lock. And the thing is, if you swing into this Maractus, it does do more damage onto the board.
Well, keep in mind, Zach has 2 prizes left, dude. Not 1.
I know.
There are 2. Zach's got 1 card left in deck. He needs to win.
Oh.
Zach is full on cooked, dude.
This is insane.
Burst Roar! No, that's a Teal Mask. Oh, the fighting was the last card in deck.
That's it. Oh my, it just discarded everything.
No.
Oh my word. What an insane game. Trevor seeing the route. This is the kind of 10% route we were talking about earlier. And you can only take these routes in these extended top cut situations.
You can really only explore that. Like I said, explore this loss. You can really only afford to explore this loss in a situation like this. That's it. And now Trevor doing the damage counters before passing for win.
Extremely funny to discard all of those energy as well.
Yes.
That was an insane amount of damage.
Then we see Barlow is the judge. Barlow, he's loving it. And I'll pass. Oh, and now he's doing the damage counters too. Oh, thank God.
I think that was Itchy Pollen.
And that is game. Trevor Passmore advancing to top 4 with his Marnie's Grimmsnarl EX deck. But as we saw, no Marnie's Grimmsnarl EX required in that win, with a full-on Frostlass, Monkey Dory, Board State, Maractus to Retreat Lock. Absolutely nuts.
That's one of my favorite parts of the Marnie's Grimmsnarl deck, too, is the fact that it's not reliant on attacking every single turn with a Grimmsnarl. with cards like the Monkey Dory and the Frostlass, you can really piece together the kinds of games that you wouldn't normally expect to be able to win.
Yeah, that was an exceptionally played game there. Huge props to Trevor for sniffing out that win condition. I mean, a win condition that, with a record of 5-0-3, has not lost a set in this tournament so far. So must be familiar with those crazy comeback games, and really it was just very impressive to watch him navigate that win, and especially in that game too, where things just seemed really rough from the get-go. But he made an exceptional comeback, and now we see Devin in Game 3 of his top 8 match. Devin was our Journey Together 3K champion from a couple months ago, facing off against Lion for a spot in top 4. Yo, thank you.
Psyduck.
Yo, shouts to Psyduck. Yo. Yeah, thank you, Dill Daddy Supreme, for that $2 dono over on YouTube. Appreciate it. Thank you. That was a very hype set, Riley, I have to say. Marnie's Grimmsnarl. It was making me a little nervous that only one Marnie's Grimmsnarl made top 8. And
now it's on top 4.
Now it's on to top 4. Has an opportunity to win the whole thing. One of 4 players weeded down from 129 players here at Full Grip Games this morning. Now there are only 4. And Trevor punching a ticket to the semifinals with the Marnie's Grimmsnarl deck. Brand new archetype from Destined Rivals, and a deck that I think so many players have their eyes on for the upcoming North American International Championships.
Absolutely, yeah. And let's not forget the awesome play by Zach to make it to this point. And Zach will be going home with $150 for that top 8 appearance. So not too shabby at all for Zach.
For sure.
Now, looking at the top 4, we're looking at a minimum prize threshold of $350. So I'm also sure that Trevor will be pretty happy with that.
Things are ramping very quick. It's $150 for top 8, $350 if you make it to top 4. And then finals, you're guaranteed $700 if you get second place. First place is that $1,000 grand prize. It's not store credit, folks. This is cash. It spends anywhere that they accept the U.S. American dollar. All right. So that is some Chris Hunnits you're going to be taking home with you, courtesy of Full Grip Games. It's been an incredible event so far, running very smoothly downstairs, and we're so thankful that you all have joined us for this exciting event, giving us a preview of what's to come at the North American International Championships. Now, Riley, you're attending NAIC.
Of course.
I'm attending NAIC. What's the play, dog? What's the play? I'm sure many people in the audience today are wondering, what's the play? Trying to get a glimpse of what the play might be 2 weeks ahead of the event.
Well, I mean, after a showing like that, you got to be a little high on Grimmsnarl, right? It really, really impressed in that series against the odds, both games, and pulling them out both times. That's very, very impressive. So Grimmsnarl is going to be at the top of my testing list personally, and I know it's on the top of many people's testing lists. It's one of the most popular decks on TCG Live right now. Some of that's new toy syndrome, of course.
Always.
But I think that's going to be a very impactful deck going into the North American International Championship. I'm always interested in what Gardevoir has to offer. We'll see if Gardevoir gets a chance to play against Grimmsnarl in this tournament.
I want to see that matchup.
I want to see it. Yeah, I want to see what goes down in that matchup.
I do.
Because I think Gardevoir is always going to be a top-tier contender, coming out of such a dominant place in Journey Together. If you're familiar with Gardevoir, I wouldn't drop it out of the gate. And here's the thing, Andrew. Even if the Grimmsnarl matchup is completely terrible, how many times have we played decks knowing that there's a terrible matchup out there and just saying, we'll dodge it?
Dodge it, baby. You can't win them all. You can't. No deck has all good matchups.
And sometimes it's almost better to take like the more extreme, like I'm going to 90-10 these 5 matchups, and I'm going to 10-90 this matchup. And that's okay. You know, sometimes it's okay to roll those kinds of odds too, because it makes your favorables less susceptible to variance.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
So Gardevoir is still a top contender for me, even if Grimmsnarl climbs to the numbers that you're alleging it could.
Yeah, I mean, if you're only losing 10% of the field, but you're beating everything else, then like...
And we saw how good Gardevoir was in some of the games earlier today. So strong.
Yeah, Guardy's cracked, dude. Man.
What are you thinking? Are you still on that Raging Bolt hype train?
Raging Bolt is a crazy deck. I mean, the ability to just chase down things with Fan Rotom or the little Raging Bolt and then back it up with like the biggest, baddest attacker in the game. What Raging Bolt can't do is what we saw Trevor do to win that game. Like Trevor, that game in top 8 was filled with finesse and comeback
tricks.
Raging Bolt does not have the tricks, okay? And that is an issue. I don't like it when decks don't have tricks, okay? Like that, or they need to be so aggressive that it's like stupid, like Night March, you know, like or even Miraidon with like lightning electric generator, right? Like it's got to be a deck that's like so aggressive, like I'm going turn 1 in. Raging Bolt is a deck that has slowed down a notch since the release of since the rotation of like Radiant Greninja. I mean, it was like one of the major
Pokestop as well.
Pokestop, yeah. Raging Bolt has slowed down a notch. It plays stage 1s now. Unheard of last year. Stage 1s? What are you doing?
We're taking turn 1 knockout.
Yeah, why are there Pokemon evolving in my Raging Bolt deck, right? Like, so it's slowed down a notch. I don't like that about the deck. I liked it more when it was just the big basic beat stick that only played basics. You know? I'm kind of more into that variant of it that is taking those turn 1 knockouts consistently every game. So like, yeah, I'm having a hard time buying into an archetype right now, which I know I'm not the only one. You kind of have like your pillars, right? You have like your Guardy, your Dragapult.
Yeah.
Those, if you're not like a Guardy head or a Dragapult head, those are like the 2 teams you could kind of be on in standard, right?
Raging Bolt, I think, is one of those too, to be fair.
And then a Bolt head, right? Like those are like the 3 for sure. And it's like, I just don't really feel like I'd just be a Dengo head, says Jesse Parker, who dropped it round 5 today. Another drop from the Golden Go deck, Jesse. Come on, man. Come on. You're not selling me on it.
What is your take on the Goldango deck? Because we did see Grant Manley play it. He finished at 9th. And to be honest, his record wasn't amazing.
It wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad, but it wasn't like incredible either. X1-2, it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, Grant Manley, is a player that I very, very much respect, and who I think is, you know, who is in cahoots with some of the best players in the game as well. I mean, he's one of the best players in the game, and then is also like, you know, teammates with like Azul and Caleb, right? Yeah. So like their team's cracked. So Jesse says, bro respects Grant, but not me. Jesse, here's the deal, Jesse. You want to take your Limitless page, all right, and then butt it up against Grant's. You just take them and butt them up against each other, bro. just scroll down.
The world's finish.
Jesse does have the world's finish. I'll give him that. But also, not a lot of variety outside of Miraidon. So when Jesse starts talking to me about decks that are not Miraidon, love him to death. But like, you know, it's like, well.
Jesse, don't take that sitting down, dude. Flame him.
Where's Grant's world deck? I haven't seen it in stores. I know. So yeah. But Golden Go, Jesse, if you had performed with Golden Go
ever,
then I would be more inclined to believe you. All right, but you haven't. There's been no substance there to back up the Golden Go. All right. I like Golden Go as a Pokemon, but my beef with Golden Go, I'm just super unlucky, bro. Trust.
No, because Grant is the unluckiest player of all time, though. So
yes.
That can't be reconciled, I don't think.
No, right. Golden Go, we'd have to do something like Golden Go doesn't have the tricks. I need more tricks. There's no tricks.
You have a monkey. That's a layer of a trick.
It's like almost a trick.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I need more.
But everybody
tricks.
knows that trick.
Everybody knows that.
trick.
Everybody's doing that trick. That's not even a trick, bro.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, what happened to putting the Togekiss? We gotta put the Togekiss in the Golden
Yeah, we
Go
need
deck.
Togekiss in there pronto.
Yeah, put the Togekiss back. Now that's a trick. All right.
That is a trick. That is a trick.
Yeah, put the Togekiss back in the Golden Go deck, and then I'm interested again. Yeah, I get to flip a coin. I get to take more prizes. Yeah, that just seems great.
Yeah, that is pretty tricky. Yeah,
that's a trick. You know,
Hmm.
you basically turn your Golden Goes into Briar every single turn.
Yeah, basically that.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, that's pretty much exactly it.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm not like really bought into a deck. I really wanted to be bought into the Flareon deck, but it just seems like it does not fare very well against the Grimmsnarl stuff is kind of like my summation of it. And then you've got like the Raging Bolt matchup, which is just this weird race where you're trying to you're both Noctowl decks. They're like way better at racing than you are, but you're trying to race them. It's like they just got the faster car, bro. It's just the way it is. But then like you're trying to race Raging Bolt. Doesn't feel great. So yeah, I'm looking. I want like an X Factor play for sure. I don't want to just play one of the big three. I know. I wish I could,
Mewtwo's
Riley.
got the
I
X
wish I
Factor,
could.
dude.
Well, it definitely has
X-Ball.
something.
Yeah.
It definitely has something.
What does it have?
It's got no finishes. Is what it's got.
A lack of something isn't having something, Andrew. So I feel like you got to have a wittier retort than that, I think.
Jesse says I got to play more standard to find a deck. I got to get back on TCG Live.
But maybe he's telling the truth, because if you get on TCG Live and spam that Giovanni's Persian, you can get a look at everybody's deck lists and farm them.
Maybe I'll just go on TCG Live and play. I got to get to Arceus League first, and then I'll just start spamming Giovanni's Persian so I can look at everyone's lists. And maybe I'll get lucky enough to get paired against one of Tord's sock accounts. One of Tord's like 80 sock accounts that he has.
I'm thinking so.
Yeah, that'll be my plan for NAIC. Yes.
Yeah, just farm people's lists.
I
think that could be it. Yeah.
Yeah, that could be it. You know, or I could rely on my very talented and accomplished friends Jesse Parker and JW Krewall, who've been grinding standard all year. Surely they've figured something out, Riley.
They have. It's Goldengo, dude. Good
God. And what proof do they have to back that up?
I think top 32.
No, they don't.
Can we run the numbers on that?
Nobody top 32'd with Goldengo. They would have won like $1,000 or something. I would have heard about that.
Let's run the numbers on this. What do they have to show for their Goldengo?
What do they have to show for the Goldengo love that they've been? Listen, if you guys had results, I'd be all in. I convinced the gang to play Goldengo at NAIC last year. It would have to be beyond a doubt the play for me to get convinced to spend my one major tournament this year on Goldengo again. Jesse says I lost my winning into top 8 and EUIC and bubbled out of top 64.
Maybe
so you got nothing.
Got some packs.
Yeah, but that's nothing. That's not...
Was it a winning in to top 8 or a winning into ASIM as well? Let's be clear with our language.
Booster box, yeah, for sure. Goldengo. I mean, Goldengo. Grant played Goldengo.
Okay, what about Toad Scroll? You're looking for secret sauce?
I'm telling you, Toad Scroll, dude.
Yeah, you hit those Grimmsnarls for weakness.
Toad Scroll.
You prevent your opponent from accessing the discard pile.
Toad Scroll. Toad Scroll. I don't think you're beating Raging Bolt with the Toad Scroll deck.
Well, Not everyone can be a winner, dude.
Yeah, you can't beat everything, right?
So my ideal deck, if I had to say, would one-hit KO everything my opponent puts in the active, would not be KO'd by anything.
It'd be really easy to learn in 2 weeks.
Be really easy to learn. Have single prize options, have damage spread, and ideally is super resilient, has a draw engine built in. So we can get on that, folks. Listeners,
can I just play Shock Lock? Can I play, or not Shock? Can I play Rock Lock? Team Rocket's Tyranitar or Team Rocket's Ampharos? Can I play that?
I don't know if the power level of those cards is quite in line with the power level of all the other cards of the format.
Listen, all right, so this strategy was broken in 2006, all right? It was so good. You use Tyranitar, it's got like the same ability, and then you got like the Rocket's Ampharos, the Dark Ampharos it was called back then, and it like, you know, puts damage counters on guys when they evolve. And you even had this thing, it was called TM Rock, right? And then it like devolved guys, and we got devolution. The whole deck is here.
It is. It's just a way lower relative power level than it was.
All right, Jesse. Well, I'll have to hear your tournament report from today about Guldengo. The fact that you dropped at round 5 but are still in the Twitch chat talking about Guldengo, there must be something about that deck. There
better be something.
Yeah, there must be something about that deck that's bringing you back. God, I wish I could play Chen Pao. Don't talk to me about Chen Pao, dude. It hurts. It still hurts. It hurts that he's gone.
He's not gone. Still with us.
Yo, Dark Virus, the $5 dono over on YouTube. Thank you so much. It says they played in a local tournament yesterday, played Toad Scroll, and won a free booster box of Destined Rivals. That is a quite the prize. I mean, that is worth like hundreds of dollars. So that's pretty sick. Yeah, that's hype. All right. The time is nigh. Devin advances to top 4. Our Journey Together 3K winner is making another run at that $1,000. That teenager wants that cash back. He's probably spent it all on, like, I don't know, whatever teenagers spend their money on these days.
Yeah, man, I'm too out of touch for that.
Yeah, I don't know. I have a kid, you know. I know what like the Fire Kids toys are, you know. I know all about the Melissa and Doug wooden toys. Yeah, that's for sure. I know all about that stuff now. I know all about Bombas as well. I know about the Bomba hype. Yeah, Bombas are really tasty. I know all about the Melissa and Doug toys. I know all about the coolest Fisher Price toys. Yeah.
There you go, folks.
Yeah.
Fisher Price.
I know about all the crazy VTech toys that are out there.
I feel like Devin has aged out of those.
Yeah, see, that's all I know. But like, that's what I know now. Is I got a 9-month-old at home. Okay, like, you know, he's pulling the stand. Yeah. That's like, yeah, take him to swim lessons.
Well, with the grand, you could get a couple of those Heart Gold Soul Silver energy.
All right, Devin advances to top 4, and folks, we've got our top 4 side of the bracket getting ready to battle right now.
All right, check it out, folks. We have some familiar faces on the stream here. We have Sean and Carter as our top 4 slugfest, and if I'm not mistaken, this is going to be a Raging Bolt mirror match, Andrew.
Oh, heck yeah. Some bolt on bolt action. Let's go.
Now this really truly seems like a prize race type of matchup, unless I am not seeing the vision, Andrew. Is there any tricks you can pull off? Any tricks?
Yeah, any tricks? If you play Briar, maybe. You know,
let's take a look. See
if you play Briar, then there's potentially the option to take an odd prize as your first prize and still win the race?
It's hard though.
It's really hard. I'm not a believer in it, but like it's a trick though.
It is a trick. Yeah, so Carter does have Briar in his list.
See, told you.
But Sean does not. So Carter does have indeed one more trick than Sean does. Both playing the one copy of Judge, which I would potentially classify as a trick. Yeah, I mean, I think it's really fundamentally it's going to come down to the prize race in this sort of matchup. The mirrors are for like aggressive mirrors like this. That tends to be the case. Neither player playing a card like Iono either to try and claw back a win from the jaws of defeat. So, yeah, almost certainly just going to be whoever takes those early 2 prize knockouts going to be favored to win.
Yeah, Riley, I often find that Pokemon trading card game will come down to which player selects their prize cards first.
The first knockout, though, the first knockout isn't always the pathway to victory.
No, it's not.
As we just saw with all the tricks this past round.
That's true. That's true. I'm just busting your balls. All right. Yes, this is going to be a classic slugfest, right? We've got 2 prizers knocking out 2 prizers, and they're not going to have a hard time knocking each other out either. These aren't guys with over 300 hit points, which honestly, Raging Bolt doesn't even really have a hard time knocking those guys out either. These are going to be some low-hanging fruit. It's all going to be about the tempo of the game. Do you have a good opening? Are you going to be able to be the first one to take that 2 prize knockout, right? Because if you're taking a single prize knockout, then you want to be able to take that knockout with a single prize Pokemon so that you can upset your opponent's tempo. I mean, really, it's going to be about trying to go 2-4-6. That's what you want, right?
Definitely.
Yeah. So if you can go 2-4-6, you'll probably be the one that wins because you're winning in 3 attacking turns. But if you go 1 and then 3-5-7, that's 4 attacking turns. You can see how that's not as good as 2-4-6. So that's 1 additional attacking turn. Let's get into it, Riley. Top 4 is underway here at Full Grip Games with the Destined Rivals 3K. Let's get some hype in the chat going for these players who have been gaming for hours today, over nearly a dozen hours of gaming so far, and still more to go.
And Carter starting off with a fan call Rotom in the active and immediately leveraging that ability to search out a handful of colorless Pokemon from his deck. Now, I will say both of these players are playing 2 Gust options, 1 Boss and 1 Prime Catcher. So you could theoretically have scenarios that come up where if a player uses both of their Gusts, you could force them into taking a 1 prize knockout. So that is an element of the matchup that both players will have to consider, is the kind of sequence by which they take their knockouts and how often they're gusting. Because you would hate to leave yourself in a situation where you ran out of Gust and your opponent does something tricky with like a Baby Raging Bolt, for example.
Right. Yeah, and it does seem like it's going to be this situation where both players kind of want to leverage those single prize attackers to be as impactful as possible, right? You got the little Raging Bolt, could be a major player here. You can use it to pick off Hoot on the bench. I mean, it would require 3 energy on it. But again, like I said, these Pokemon aren't the most difficult to knock out for Raging Bolt. So, you know, wasting 3 energy on a single Raging Bolt is not bad. But then that's taking a single prizer, right? And you want to be taking 2 prizers. So it's tough. You want to be taking a double prize, turn every turn that you attack. Sean has opened with the Pheasantipity EX. So, I mean, Carter could target that down early on in the match. And we'll see what Ditto decides to transform into.
Yeah, this could be a interesting decision. I like having a single prize ancient Pokemon be the choice. And Slitherwing does threaten that Pheasantipity.
It does, which is why I think that was the choice, because the thing you want to do is ideally if you could take a single prize Pokemon and knock out a 2 prize Pokemon with it, that's what you want, right? So like Slitherwing is the one Pokemon in the deck that can probably do that right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Can't really piece together those kinds of plays with the Baby Raging Bolt without like 2-hit KOing. For example, you could snipe for 90 and snipe for 120 on a following turn onto Pheasantipede. That's a 2-hit knockout, but Slitherwing getting that clean 1-hit KO.
We'll see. There's an Earthen Vessel. I think Sean's hand is terrible, Riley.
Ooh.
Taking a look, I think I see a bunch of energy and this Vessel. I think that's
and going down a quick game in these sorts of mirror matches is devastating.
It is, Riley. It is. It is not great, but you just got to keep your mettle.
Oh,
literally, dude. Like, look at his hand. Look at it.
Unplayable.
Yeah. It's crisping and a bunch of energy.
Wow. That's obscene.
I respect this scoop. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, what
bro.
else are you gonna do?
I respect that scoop. Don't even entertain the attached pass to Fez. Just get me out of here. Reroll. Let's do it again. Now, I mean, Carter, 3 minutes in,
up a game,
is now up a game and just 1 mirror win. I mean, you got to figure like.
And just double checking names might be flipped.
Oh, that's my bad. Sorry, guys. Yeah, Carter is on the left. That's my fault. And Sean is on the right.
So if you're Sean here, you're feeling really good after a quick 3-minute game 1. I will say, I think we're going to finish this series with time to spare at this point. 70 minutes left for a Raging Bolt mirror match. I can't suspect we're going to need more time than that.
No, this is plenty of time. Yeah, Carter going for the quick scoop and kind of just saying like, all right, yeah, I've got 2 more tries, or I got 1 more try to try and have like a decent opening. And you have to imagine it's going to be better than that, right? Like at this point, you're 7-1-1. You really haven't.
Deck can do it.
Yeah. Your deck is performed all day. Surely the train's not going to go completely off the tracks, right?
You would hope not.
We've got the names fixed at the top, so sorry about that confusion there for the first game. Though the first game did only last 3 minutes, so you know,
not a lot of time to catch it.
Yeah, not too bad, but thank you.
Now, Sean, starting with a transformative start Ditto, pretty much best possible Pokemon to open with, frankly, with any deck, but definitely in this Raging Bolt deck. And it gives you the flexibility to choose whatever Pokemon you need to start. If you want an early Fan Call, you can get it. If you want an early Sada aggressive maneuver, you can do that. If you just want to get in 1 prizer in the active, you can do that too. Ditto just so powerful for its flexibility, and Raging Bolt I think leverages it best of any deck in the format.
Yeah, and opening the Ditto, that's incredible for Sean. Sean's got gonna have his pick out of the entire deck. He's opening a wild card, right? You can just go into your deck, search the deck too. So like, I mean, it's useful for that. And if you don't have access to a fan rotom, you go get the fan rotom, get the fan call going, and get all that orchestrated. And it's looking like Carter is having just a much smoother start this game. I mean, fan call, we've got hoo-hoots. There's a Terra Pokemon in play already. I mean, this is just great. Super playable hand. You'll love to see it.
It is theoretically possible to knock out this Teal Mask Ogerpon if Sean has a really explosive turn 1, though. Imagine like a transformative start into a Raging Bolt EX comboed with a Professor Sada and an attachment for turn. And that's lights on this Teal Mask. Is that likely to happen? I would say probably not, but certainly possible. And if you can take those knockouts without a gust, that kind of denies Carter the ability to leave a one prizer active, because all you need is 2 more gusts to close out the game.
All right, let's see. Raging Bolt in hand. You might as well lay that down. The Golden Bolts. Yeah, I didn't even know that Carter was running the Gold Bolts.
The Golt.
We did the Golts, yeah. That is so true. Look at the Raging Golt. And we got Lightning Energy to the Bolts, and it's over to Sean, who's got the Transformative Start Ditto in the active. It's going to start off with a Nest Ball, though.
Yeah, Nest Ball. Wouldn't surprise me if we see a card like the Fan Rotom selected off that Nest Ball. I think it depends what resources Sean has access to. If they're looking to just set up their board, go wide, Fan Rotom's really good here. If they have the potential, though, to swing for a knockout, I think I would take that over the Fan Rotom if that's what it took. And with 4 copies of Professor Sada's Vitality and 2 further copies of Crispin, it's definitely possible to get these quick knockouts. Even looking at a Pheasantipity, or sorry, a Squawk ability to Squawk and Seize and dig even deeper on this first turn. I think Sean is going for it.
Going for the turn 1 knockout on this this Teal Mask. Yeah, and I mean, the Ditto start, right? You're starting the prize race. You're just going to put this away, right? Like say, let's just end this before it even starts.
Yeah, I like it. And frankly, your board is going to be full of multi-prize liabilities anyway. What's one more in the Squawk ability in this specific matchup?
Here we go. Squawk and Seize. I would have liked to see probably like a Lightning and a Fighting getting discarded, or like one of the two.
For sure.
To really like lean into this
it does draw the Sada, but I don't see much else. I don't think Sean is going to be able to get the kind of explosive turn he was looking for.
No, probably not. We've got a Crispin. Okay. Well, and the Ditto can become anything else, right?
Yeah, you need... So if you have a Crispin...
Oh, he's got it.
You need the Teal Mask. Do you have access to a Teal Mask? Because Crispin only gets 2 energy in play.
Yeah, you got to get a Teal Mask. So I can't see the edge of the hand. If there's a Teal Mask, then I feel like you kind of slam that.
I don't think there's an out to Teal Mask.
No, then no, does not have it. So yeah, we're gonna see Transformative start, and Sean kind of knows that he's got time to kill. He doesn't need to rush through this game. We got an hour and 5 minutes to play 2 games.
And it's not like he's in a bad spot this game either.
No, it's always funny when one game in a set is just a total bust, especially when you're in like a top cut series with like 75 minutes. If one game is a total bust in like 50 best of 3, you still kind of have to hustle to get the games finished. But in a 75-minute cut and one game's a bust, it's like, okay, you could take a breather for a turn or two.
Let's see what his choice is off this Ditto. Fan Rotom could be an interesting one.
Yep, and it looks like that's what it is.
Yeah, I think that makes sense, given that we're not taking a knockout this turn.
And then you can just use Fan Call and go search your deck for up to 3 colorless Pokemon with less than 100 hit points.
Now, we know for sure that Sean does not have access to a Teal Mask Ogerpon, right? So even though he's searching his deck and grabbing these Hoot Hoot and Noctowls out, can he actually use them this next turn?
Yeah, because he needs access to a Terra Pokemon. Well, I think you just have to like thin your deck and hope.
Oh, I wasn't even able to get that much off the Fan Call.
No, and you've got like Crispin in your hand. It's strange, right? I think there is a basic Pokemon, but it's Slitherwing, yeah.
Okay, so you could Sada to the Slitherwing to draw more cards.
That's fine.
Yeah, I mean, you got 4 Sada.
Right, and I guess you've got just one EX Pokemon in play. It's the Squawk. If the Squawk gets... The Squawk would have to get like Prime Catchered, probably.
Yeah.
In order to get KO'd, which is certainly a possibility and would be probably fine for Carter to do.
Yeah, and frankly, the Teal Mask is a more appealing target anyway, and they both take 3 energy to knock out, so...
Exactly.
Okay, promoting that Slitherwing. Sure.
And a pass. Okay. So I think retreating into the Slitherwing makes it so that I guess Carter can't just use Fan Rotom to knock out a Fan Rotom. That would be my guess.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you probably want to...
Yeah, deny the Fan Rotom seems good.
Get an energy into
You're
play.
forcing a Gust this turn.
Yes.
Basically. And there it is, the Prime Catcher. So that's one of the 2 Gust outs that these Raging Bolt decks play.
Is it just one boss, one Prime?
Yeah, and that's pretty standard these days, too, is the 1 boss, 1 Prime.
Wow.
So what Sean could do is try and finagle enough 1-prizers into the active to eventually force Carter to take one.
Yeah, I mean, it would have to be like 3 would have to be the right number, right?
Yes, Andrew.
Yeah, because like eventually, if it's 2 1-prizers, yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's tough to kind of force the issue from here, though, because Carter's almost certainly going to knock out the Teal Mask Ogerpon with this Prime Catcher.
Right.
You can't really just promote the Slitherwing and do what? Yeah.
Yeah, this is a tough place for Sean to play from. That turn 1 really didn't go like textbook.
No,
it wasn't.
No,
it wasn't like
digging
great.
with that Squawk and still having a really rough start is not what you want to see. A lot of folks aren't even playing Squawkabilly. Making
In
this
the Raging
more,
Bolt?
making this more aggressive inclusion and still not getting the payoff.
No, right.
Kind of a bummer.
Yep. And we see how easy it is for Carter to piece together this Gust knockout, all thanks to Knocked Out with the Jewel Seeker ability. And here we go. Raging Bolt taking a massive knockout.
There we go. 2 prize taken by Carter.
Bellowing Thunder for 210 damage with 3 energy discarded. And Carter taking a massive 2 prize lead. And showing off that game 1 was just a fluke, right?
Must have been a fluke.
Yeah, totally a fluke. And now Sean...
Hopefully not going for a Noctowl.
No, can't actually use Noctowl.
Okay,
Has to get another Teal Mask Ogerpon into play.
I just don't see a great angle here. Because the only way to knock out a Raging Bolt is with your own Raging Bolt.
Right.
But then you have a Raging Bolt in the active. And Raging Bolt is starting to sound like a fake word because I'm saying it too much.
Yeah, dude. Raging Gult. Raging Bulk.
Yeah, Raging Bulk.
Yeah, that's what it was, man. When it first dropped. Man.
How far Raging Bolt has come.
I know. Are really far away. Yeah. Now it's... I mean, the potential was always there if some crazy engine existed for it. And now we got that crazy engine, so...
It's true. Yeah, I mean, the Ogerpon, of course, is the real deal maker.
Definitely. Okay, so Sean's got Area 0 Underdepths, Jewel Seeker with the Teal Mask Ogerpon on the bench. We've got an extended bench now with Latias and Raging Bolts on the bench.
So I guess Sean's potential comeback route could be to bench enough single prize Pokemon that he could go to fully single prize after a jamming tower and do something like Slitherwing KO Fez.
Right. I mean, that could be a comeback option, right? Because you're going to have to force a single prizer to knock out a 2 prizer. You're going to have to do that. And there are limited gusting options in these builds. So the Prime Catcher's already down. At some point, if you can take a 2-prizer with your single prizer, that's going to skip you back ahead of the game, right? But you're going to have to, it's going to have to be a Raging Bolt respond to this bolt. And then Carter will have to bench Fez in order to, like, you know, make a response. And then Sean would have to, like, I think there's just simply not enough Teal Mask Ogerpon in play for Sean, if I'm going to be honest. Like, looking at this board, I feel like in order to ramp at the end to, like, because you're saying you're going to have to boss and you're going to have to prime, right? In order to win this game.
Well, I don't think Sean has to double gust.
Oh, Sean doesn't have to double gust. You're right. No, because it's just going to have to be one prime and then just continue to knock out.
Carter could, in theory, have to use his second gust. But because Sean's bench is so full of multi-prize Pokemon, I actually don't think it's possible to reduce back down to a single prize only board.
No, it is definitely not. And you got both Noctowls gassed out on Sean's side right now, too. I mean, look how much cleaner Carter's board is. It just, you know, so much less resources expended for such a higher payoff. And okay, so like, well, what if say Sean gets Raging Bolt, knocks out Carter's Raging Bolt, and then Carter benches Fez, whips up a new Raging Bolt, knocks out Sean's Raging Bolt, goes to 2 prizes remaining. Then Sean goes Slitherwing
on a
Fez, right? Then Carter would need Gust to win.
Yeah, but you're kind of denying yourself that by discarding the fighting off the Slitherwing.
Right.
So I think to make that really work, you'd want to do something like Prime Catcher, attack with Slitherwing, and Judge.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is that then Carter could go, if Carter misses the Gust knockout for game, right? Then Carter goes Fan Rotom knockout the Slitherwing, right? Then Sean does need double Gust to win. So like,
yeah,
you see what I'm saying? So like in the hypothetical route we've created, Sean does need a double Gust.
Yeah.
Because there's no way Carter just sends up a Raging Bolt into a Slitherwing and says, I hope I don't die.
Probably not.
No, definitely not, dude.
Yes, this game feels like it's going to get really weird at the end. But I just feel like Carter's in the better position by a decent margin right now. Just having a cleaner board state, has access still to another Noctowl if he needs it. Has multiple ancient Pokemon to Sada onto. Yeah, just a little bit cleaner all around.
Yeah, Carter's got, I mean, just tons of options and a really solid looking board. You know, with the unevolved Toot, I mean, just really goes a long way. When you're looking
it's
at
so threatening.
It's so threatening. You're looking at Sean's board and you're like, wow, both those Noctowl are kind of maxed out. Yeah, there's a Squawk there that doesn't feel great, right? There's a Slitherwing with no energy on it. Yeah, Carter's board is definitely is looking very nice, and I would expect that Carter is able to ride this wave all the way to victory in this game, but we'll have to see.
I expect so too, but you never know. You never know. Maybe Boss is the last prize.
Could be.
Boss is the last prize, and Sean's able to Gust KO with a Pheasantipity. There's still Pokemon yet to be played, I think is the takeaway here.
That's so true, Riley.
So getting those grass energies out of the deck off that Earthen Vessel. Be able to attach one of those to this second Teal Mask Ogerpon.
Really appreciating the bling in Carter's deck right now. I'm kind of mesmerized by the bling.
Yeah, I mean, this is This is the Raging Bolt lifestyle, I feel like. To
That's
play a
what
deck that
I'm
looks like
saying, dude. That's what I'm saying.
I feel like every time I play against the Raging Bolt, their deck looks like this.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, bro. It's part of the Bolt lifestyle.
It is.
Yeah.
The gold energies are especially a part of it, I feel like.
Oh, definitely. All right, we've got a Bellowing Thunder.
Boom. Get bellowed.
There you go. 280 damage. Carter going to just 2 prize cards remaining in this match. Okay.
And Sean does not have a lot going on this board.
No, this is, let's see what you got. Let's see what you got, Sean. But no Jewel Seekers on the horizon.
No energy in play.
No energy in play.
No room on the bench.
No. Yeah, I got a Nest Ball for a second. That's a maxed out bench with no Raging Bolt in play.
Yeah, I imagine Sean's going for that Gust on the Pheasantipity.
Right.
With the Slitherwing. And then remains to be seen.
Yeah, gotta get some extra energy online, right? So that you can win. But how can you win? How can you win from this board state, right?
I feel like
you cannot. Well, it would have to be with Teal Mask, right? So you'd have to get... All right. This turn, let's cook up the win from Sean's side. All right.
Yeah.
Let's cook up the win. 4 prizes left, right? So you got to go like Sada to Slitherwing.
Of course.
And attach to it.
Yeah, man.
That sucks. All right. You definitely need to Teal Dance to both of these. No, I don't think there's a way, dude. I'm trying to cook it. You can't. All right. Okay. Yep. Nope. I'm still not seeing it.
So let's say you can Sada Prime the Fez this turn.
Yes.
How are you taking the last 2 prizes?
That's where I'm at, and I can't get there because you need to boss.
Yeah.
Energy switch. Is there an energy switch?
No.
Frick.
Oh wait, Sean does play an energy
told
switch.
you, bro. They be playing it.
Yeah. Huh. Sean does play an energy, but still, I don't
But
think
no
it's
bear,
enough.
right? There's no bears in either of the list.
No.
No Blood Moons.
No, that would be
Okay.
so good in this situation.
I'm telling you, dude. People aren't playing the best card in the format.
Okay,
It's
the Blood
nuts.
Moon is not the best card in the format.
That card's crazy.
Have you seen Monkey Dory?
All right. Yeah, Blood Moon. Blood Moon's crazy. I'm a huge Blood Moon fan. Y'all read that card? It's got 260 hit points.
Yeah, neither of these players are playing Blood Moon, Andrew. So
Yes. E-switch is to hit. Yes, you can hit an early 90 with little bolts.
yeah, all right. Carter's opting instead to play the Briar as a tech option to take extra prizes.
We got Slitherwing taking the 2 prize knockout on Pheasantipity there. Burning Turbulence to tie this game up at 2-2. 120 damage. Fez is weak to fighting, so that Slitherwing is going to do 90 damage to itself.
Yeah, maybe if Carter ignores this Slitherwing, you just start stomping off. Oh, here we go though. We got that Boss's Orders and Energy Retrieval. That should be enough to win this game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, just the 2 energy off the retrieval is enough.
That'll do it. Squawkabilly is there.
Yeah, or any of the 210 HP basics, of which there's a multitude.
Yeah, and Carter is gonna secure.
Sean making him go through the motions, though.
You gotta respect that. He flashed the card, still no scoop. Do it, man. Well, do it. Just do it.
And to be fair, there's always a chance your opponent messes it up.
Yeah.
But it doesn't look like Carter's going to.
Nope.
Got to hold him accountable all the way. What if he doesn't discard 3? What if he discards 2?
I'm someone when I'm playing, even if my opponent is in the process of scooping, I will still go through all of the game actions and announce my game actions because Just want to make sure there's no confusion as to like what was occurring in the final stages of the game.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that you all know, like I was doing the thing that was required for me to win. I'm going to say it out loud, and make sure that it was announced, right? So that, because like if you start scooping up your cards and I didn't say anything, and a judge walks over, he could be like, "No, you scooped first." I'd be like, "You never announced the game-winning attack." I don't know. I try to. I always
feel like that's slightly paranoid of that specific situation happening.
I'm telling you, miscommunications in general it's not that situation. It's just like miscommunications,
Yeah. Want to avoid them if you can.
Just want to avoid them. And the best way to avoid a miscommunication is to communicate exactly what you want to do in the game. Right. So I try not to just assume that my opponents know what I'm doing at any given point in time. I like to be very clear. I like to announce everything that I'm doing, go through all the motions, the game-winning plays, and that's what we saw Carter do. Is Carter now climbs to a game 3 after a very quick scoop in game 1. We've got ourselves a game 3 on our hands, folks. This is for a shot at the finals of the Destined Rivals 3K Cash Release Weekend Tournament here at Full Grip Games.
All right, game 3. The winner of this match will go on to the finals. Raging Bolts, of course, guaranteed an appearance in the finals here. And Carter starting off his Tech Iron Leaves EX. Now, I guarantee that's not something he wants to see.
No, the Golden Leaves. Not Joe, this hand reeks. No way.
Another dud?
No way, dude.
With the goofy golden leaves up front?
Not like this, dog.
No.
Not like this, bro.
There's a lot of live top decks. I don't know if you've ever done this, Andrew. I used to do this all the time when I played Zorark. It's like, how many outs do I have at the top of my deck right now to keep me in this game? Is it the couple of fan rotoms, plus all of my nest balls, plus all my ultra balls, plus all my raging bolts, what are my ogre pawns? That's actually probably a really substantial amount of potential top decks.
That's what I'm saying.
So he's still in it. He's still in it.
We got word from the other side of top 4. Trevor with Marnie's Grimmsnarl is up game 1 against Devin. So we are one step closer to a Marnie's Grimmsnarl. Sorry, Devin. I hate to prey on your downfall here, but we all want to see a Destined Rivals card win the Destined Rival event.
We're both fans of Devin and fans of Marnie's Grimmsnarl, so it was always going to be a tough choice.
It was. Right? It was.
But it would be really nice to see a breakout performance from a brand new archetype.
That's what I'm saying. That's like a statement, right?
Yeah.
I mean, regardless, both of those decks in top 4 are not decks that are currently seeing play in our in our regional meta. Charizard Dragapult is a very interesting deck that is kind of like it's kind of coming into prominence now, in Japan's format. So that would be a kind of new deck on the scene, piloted by a very good player, Devin. And then the Marnie's Grimmsnarl is the new hotness from Destined Rivals that everybody is talking about.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Look at this. 4 energy. In the Jam Tower in the pass. Dude.
All right. Sean needs a Latias. And with a Noctowl, you could get guaranteed 3 trainers, right? As a minimum, because you could Ultra Ball plus a trainer.
These gold energy are not shuffling, bro. I'm telling you, they're clumping, bro.
They're clumping,
That's why you play min rarity, dude. They clump, dude. I'm saying.
It's true.
I'm saying, bro.
It's true.
That's why all the pros play min rarity. The gold cards clump, dude. Everybody knows this.
It's true. What is at the top?
Look at all the energy. Both of the dead draws, dude. Both of the dead draws were all foil energy hands.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Let me put on my tinfoil hat real quick.
I'm just saying,
I have some
bro.
important information to share about cards clumping.
Yeah, I'm just saying, dude. Listen, The gold cards clumping is a tale as old as time in the Pokemon TCG. People have been talking about that. People have been talking about that forever. Listen, I'm not one to but why take your chance? What if they do clump? They cost more and they might clump.
And Carter's scooping it up. Sean technically didn't have the final piece for game shown yet, that second energy for the Raging Bolt, but I mean,
that is just a really tough way to go down. And we see the card flips off the top. How far was I away? All those energy. Oh, Carter, no. Running it back in game 2 with a dominant win in game 2 to then to fizzle in games 1 and 3.
It's tough.
See, Riley, what is the point of a best of 3? You could get unlucky either way.
It's true. Luck will always be a factor.
Luck will always be a factor, no matter how many games you play.
It's true.
That's true, Riley. It's
and
true.
Honestly, how much does best of 3? Here's a real question: how much does best of 3 actually mitigate your unlucky games?
I've thought about this pretty considerably. I don't know. It's tough to say. I feel like
how often are you turning that unlucky game into a win?
I feel like, I don't know. I come away from regionals quite a few times where I'm like, wow, I really clutched out a few best of 3s there. Because I don't know, but at this point I have 10 years of experience playing the 50-minute best of 3 grind. I feel like I'm pretty good mentally at them.
Sure.
So it would be tough. Personally, it would be tough for me to kind of give up that 50-minute best of 3 because I've gotten so good at it at this point. And I'm I know how to navigate them very well. And I feel like I usually have the upper hand against almost everybody else I'm playing at a regional because I understand a 50-minute best of 3 better than they do. Right.
Yeah.
So to sack that, I'm losing something there for sure. I'm losing 10 years of experience playing under this format. But I'm an idealist. And I think, from the idealist perspective, crunching 3 games of Pokemon into 50 minutes those aren't great games of Pokemon. There's not many of them are going to be great.
Well, I think let's steer away from the best of 350 rabbit hole. We've certainly supplied plenty of thoughts for
so much thoughts
the stream
on that.
To simmer on, or the VOD viewers to simmer on.
Yes.
But awesome stuff still from Carter. Unfortunate that he wasn't able to really have much of a showing in games 1 or 3, but still going home with $350.
Yes.
So a very respectable sum of money for a day's worth of Pokemon. And Sean, of course, going on to the finals where he'll get a minimum of $700.
All with Raging Bolt. I'm saying that could be us, Riley. Just going in with Raging Bolts and just let the deck play itself.
And having fun.
And taking big knockouts. All right.
I don't like Raging Bolt's big neck.
That's one of its most appealing factors.
I don't know.
Giraffe-like.
I don't know. I don't like giraffes either.
Well, that's messed up, dude.
They're spindly. I feel like you could knock them over and they'd fall apart.
That doesn't make it less cool.
I like the elephants are cool. They could stomp on you and stuff.
Yeah, giraffes are more like a gazelle, right? They're
they're gazelle maxed for sure.
Yeah.
They're the level 50 gazelle.
Right. Yeah. Well, as someone who is a runner, that's cool to me. Yeah, they're gazelle coated. That's fine. I
like the elephants are smart and stuff.
I too was a Lankler.
Isn't an
at
elephant
one
your
point.
favorite animal?
Elephant?
I feel like you told me that's your favorite zoo animal once.
I really like the giraffes.
I feel like you're liking the giraffes in the context of this argument.
No. There's a picture of me because you could feed the giraffes at the zoo.
You can feed elephants?
Not at the zoo usually. They don't let you that close, dude. Elephants, they can wrap you up in that trunk, dude. You ever seen them? They'll lift somebody. Yeah, well, it's like a hazard. They don't let you do it at the zoo. I'm just saying, all right. Is it giraffes? All right, we'll let Twitch. What's cooler? We'll let Twitch predict or or poll. We're gonna poll.
We're gonna reveal the answer.
Yeah, we're gonna poll. All right, which zoo animal is superior?
Just the two.
Elephants, giraffes. All right, fine. I'll allow. What else should we put in the zoo poll?
I don't know. I feel like those are like the heavy hitters are the elephants and the giraffes.
Those are I feel like two of the premium zoo animals.
Like a lion is a common zoo animal, but they just spend most of the day sleeping and stuff.
Yeah, and like really not
doing much.
Yeah, not as bad. They're kind of just out there in the corner, and yeah. You've got like monkeys.
Monkeys are cool.
I could put monkeys in. Yeah, monkeys. I know there's lots of different kinds of monkeys. Okay, just listen. There's only 5 places here so we're gonna combo all monkeys together. So that way we get all the monkey fans under one umbrella here. Polar bears are big.
Polar bears are cool. Yeah, penguins. Penguins are a hit.
All right, we'll say big cats. There you go. Large cats. So all you tiger, lion people can all get under one umbrella together. That's fine. And then we'll say bears.
I would say either bears or penguins.
Penguins are like a zoo staple for sure.
Yeah. People are really excited to see penguins.
Well, they're dope. They slide on their tummies.
Exactly. So maybe they should be on the contention here.
All right, we'll say penguins. All right, you've got 5 minutes to vote on the superior zoo animal. Keep in mind, you have to be on Twitch to vote. I see YouTube folks are chiming in with their with their ideas for zoo animals, and I really appreciate that. However, you can only be part of the
feature is on.
Yeah, the polling feature unfortunately is only on Twitch. So just want you guys to know that you're not being ignored. I actually looked at your suggestions and appreciate them.
Anteater, someone says.
And anteaters are kind of neat. No, giraffes are cool.
I'm not saying giraffes aren't cool. I'm saying Raging Bolt's unsettling to me.
Well,
rhinos.
Do we have our fight? Is this it?
Did game 2 already finish?
Yeah, dude.
2-0.
It's Trevor, dude.
2-0.
It's Marty's Grim. It's Marty's Grimsnarl versus Raging Bolt in the finals. It's here. This is it. The Kingslayer. We have got Marnie's Grimsnarl taking down Devin and has moved on to the finals.
All right. Marnie's Grimsnarl against Raging Bolt.
Trevor Passmore advancing over our Journey Together champ, Devin, to advance to the finals. And we've got our finals set. It is going to be Sean Munn with Raging Bolt versus Trevor Passmore with Marnie's Grimsnarl.
Now,
all right, what do you think?
We did see Trevor put on quite the show in our top 8 round against a Raging Bolt, clawing 2 insane games from the jaws of defeat here. So definitely liking Trevor's chances. And frankly, I'll be honest, I'm rooting to see the Marnie's deck win. It's a new archetype with the Destined Rivals expansion, and who doesn't love to see the new cards triumph in this release weekend style of tournament? So that's where my money is, Andrew. However, Sean has clearly shown he has the chops to pilot Raging Bolt at the highest possible level. So all into it.
Yeah, it's going to be super hype, Riley. Let's head over to the table and see what these players have got for us for the finals. Let's go. Finals of the Destined Rivals 3K. It's happening. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Trevor Passmore on the left here. Sean Munn on the right. Trevor, 2-0 victory over Devin with the Charizard Dragapult deck. Super impressive.
And honestly, that does seem like it'd be a decent matchup for the Grimsnarl.
Yep.
You know, being able to manipulate the damage counters, spread. Charizard historically has struggled against more spread-focused strategies. So it's not unreasonable to understand the vision for Trevor winning that match, even though Devin is a fan favorite from his showing in the Journey Together tournament. And hey, back-to-back winning and top 4 at these release weekend tournaments is very impressive from Devin. Like I said, Devin is a player to watch out for when he hits the Masters stage. He is clearly at the top of the game.
Oh, definitely, right? So Trevor's taking down Devin is certainly a big deal, and yeah, really shows that this deck is no joke. He took down last 3K's champ, and Marty's Grimmsnarl, a new card from Destined Rivals, has a chance to take it all down here in the finals, or will it be Raging Bolt, a fan favorite, definitely one of the most popular choices for players at regionals so far this year. Well, let's see what these players have got for us in the final match today to decide who takes home that $1,000 grand prize.
Okay. So, Trevor taking a mulligan, giving Sean that extra card to start the game. We'll see what they can piece together. Trevor did have some rough openers earlier today against another Raging Bolt. Hopefully, in these games, he's able to start a little more smoothly, but we saw that those openers were not enough to keep Trevor down in either of those games against Raging Bolt.
No.
And a Monkey Dory start, I mean, that sounds just about as good as you could ask for. Has Buddy Buddy Poffin access as well, so can immediately start to search for those Impidimps, or potentially going straight for the Snow Runts and Frostlast line to start building up damage as soon as possible. And we saw how powerful that Snow Runt line was in the first game, and or rather in both games of his match in top 8.
Yeah, dude. I mean, this is going to be an awesome match. We got to see it run once, right? And we saw Trevor win 2 different ways. Once by just going ham with Marnie's Grimmsnarl, saying, whatever, I don't care if they get melted every turn. I'm fine. Like, I'm just going to, get enough residual damage on the board to be able to eventually take the Nutter Butters, 4 prize turn. And he did.
He did.
And then in game 2, things started going off the rails, but he's like, you know what? I got 75 minutes. Let's see how it goes, right? And was able to actually win game 2 of top 8 without a single Marnie's Grimmsnarl in play. Not a single one, Riley.
Completely insane.
Yeah.
Completely insane. And Sean, notably, his list is different than Zach's from the top 8, not including cards like that Bravery Charm, which Zach did get a lot of benefit out of that Bravery Charm, right? Making that Teal Mask Ogrepon just that little bit more tanky is such a big factor when you're trading those gigantic one-hit KOs into the Grimmsnarls. Now, it didn't quite work out for Zach, of course, but I don't suspect that the tech cards like the Energy Switch are going to be as impactful for Sean in this game as Zach's Bravery Charm was for him.
So we saw in top 8, right? Like the different kind of strategies that got pulled out by was it Zach? Mm-hmm. was our top 8 Raging Bolt player, right? We saw the 2 different strategies he went with. His first strategy was kind of just like go toe to toe with the Grimmsnarls and try to knock them out, and he got outgunned by the Grimmsnarl deck, which is crazy, right?
Yeah.
And then
playing Raging Bolt.
Yeah, playing Raging Bolt, right? You're like, to get outgunned, you're like, I just got outgunned playing Raging Bolt? Like, what do you mean? Like
I am the big gun.
Yeah, right? And then in game 2, we saw him try to, okay, well, I'm going to try and go with the Baby Bolt and snipe down little guys and really try to get an advantage going that way, right? But then we saw Trevor just say, like, okay, I'll just get out my Shaman and I'm going to try and go double Frostlast. And I mean, Trevor's start was so glacial in game 2.
It was horrible.
That I was saying, like, bro,
explore this loss.
Explore this loss. It's chalked up, but you might as well do some exploratory research. Like, and that's kind of when you have like an extended time allotment in a Top Cut situation. I mean, I say it's a joke, explore this loss, but really, like you could afford to explore games that you're losing to figure out more about your opponent's deck, right? And try to like see more cards, to gather yourself and think a little bit more about like how you might want to go about the matchup in game 3, right? You got time to kind of gather yourself and think a little bit, and also explore the loss, right? You're losing, but like maybe you explore enough that you find a win.
Yeah, Trevor was seriously exploring.
He was, dude. He was, dude. I mean, he was really scraping the bottom of the bucket, but then like the Maractus, the stall plays with Badu and the deck out just really started to come into focus. And the reason for that was that Zach had benched a lot of Raging Bolts. It was 3 Raging Bolt. And the reason for that is that they're big and they don't have any abilities, right? So like they're good for bumping things that do have abilities off your board when you counter the Area 0 underdepth. So like it made sense why they were there. But then that also created the lose condition for him, and that's how he ended up decking out. So
yeah,
crazy, right?
Yeah, and I gotta say, Sean's start is fine. You know, you have Asada, accelerated some energy into play, have access to the fan call, but it's not particularly explosive either, right? Trevor will almost certainly have another turn before any prizes are taken, and that turn could be the difference between evolving up those Frost Lasses, between getting another Monkey Dory into play with a Darkness Energy, between finding another Impidimp and just securing the board state, maybe even going for the Shaman, right? And locking down that bench damage with that energy on a Raging Bolt that potentially seems appealing. Lots of options for Trevor, and these sorts of stage 2 spread decks really love time, right? Anytime they can buy a turn here or there makes a huge difference in the flow of their games. And I think there's even a TM Evo in Trevor's hand, so can guaranteed get the double Frostlass in play.
Yeah, with an Iono. And didn't you say that's just a one of TM Evo?
It's a one of TM Evo, yeah. It just has it.
Dude.
When you're built diff, you're built diff.
Yeah, dude. You got it. There you go. TM Evo on the monkey. And I'm not going to lie, Riley. This Marnie's Grimmsnarl deck
is looking ferocious.
It's crazy. I actually, I'm really starting to vibe with Standard now. Okay. Now that I've been exposed to it more, it's better now than it was pre-rotation. It's a lot better than it was. Pre-rotation with the V-Stars still in format, it was... I really can't express how much I thought the V-Stars were just poor game design. Yeah, the game is really starting to feel like Pokemon again. I like it. It's looking good.
And look at this. I think Trevor's eyeing up that Shaman. So saying the same thing as game 2, Trevor might have the experience to say, look, it's fine. Okay, going for the Impidimp is fine too. But hey, it's fine if you snipe off 1 or 2 of my Pokemon. I'm still going to overwhelm you with damage counters, thanks to this TM Evo especially.
Yeah, so we got a Frostlass online now, and those damage counters are going to start ticking here,
There's
Riley.
And 2 Frostlass in play.
Boy!
Those damage counters are going to rack up so fast, especially on those 100 HP Noctowls. It only takes a few back and forths for those to be KO'd without any intervention.
The double Frostlass is so nuts.
Yeah, if you're Sean here, you have to be thinking, should I be sniping down one of these Frostlass with my Raging Bolt? But if you're doing that, then that's just another turn that Impidimp's got to evolve.
Exactly. Yeah, it's the pressure being put on right now is crazy from a single prize board. And that's one of the things that I really like about this Marnie's Grimmsnarl deck is that there's pressure being exuded right now, right? But Trevor also hasn't done anything yet. Like there's there's
attacks, no meaningful attacks have been launched, but there's pressure and damage pressure on the board.
Yes. And the monkeys are getting charged, right? With the Freezing Shroud damage counters. Cards like Fan Rotom are taking ticks. The Teal Mask Ogerpon is taking a tick. I'm not going to lie. Frostlass's ability read so good to me when it was released. I was like, how is this card not like how? Right?
How
like,
is this not playable?
How is this card not playable, right? Like is the game so degen that like ticking 10 damage between turns is just nothing anymore?
Does damage mean nothing anymore?
Does damage mean nothing, right?
Yeah.
This used to do something, right? Shrine of Punishment used to mean something. And it feels like, finally this card is getting vindicated with this style of deck. I mean, really, this Frostlass Monkey Dory deck actually kind of existed pre-Marnie's Grimmsnarl. And it was being played. You could play it with Badoo. It was largely just like an item lock, Frostlass deck with no real master plan to actually win against Guardy. Was kind of the deal, right? We've got a judge now coming down from Sean.
That's tough, man. He's going to be attacking with this Rotom into the active for not a KO?
Yeah. Doesn't feel great.
Well, actually, I think it is a KO. It is a KO with the addition of the damage counters.
7, 8, 9, 10?
11.
Oh, because there's 2.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, okay, sneaking a knockout and getting the judge off. Not bad.
That's
not
pretty
bad.
good. Pretty good.
Yeah, the damage from those Frostlass do add up.
Yeah, I forgot about the 2. I was the 1, I was hip to, but the 2nd, yeah. That'll do, Pig. That'll do.
Of course, that Rotom is slowly perishing as well.
Yeah, that's true. Sean taking the first prize of the game. First prize of the finals with Fan Rotom. Fan Rotom has proven to be one of the strongest early attackers in these Raging Bolt decks that we've seen on stream today. So many of them just lead the charge with Fan Rotom.
I'm going to be honest, Andrew. I think if Trevor can do something like Counter Catcher, that Teal Mask Ogerpon with a Grimmsnarl, that just might be it.
Now, the Impidimp's getting the promote.
Man, we know
over
that
Morgrim.
They love the rare candies, though.
I know. Over the Morgrim. And I think there's an Arven in hand.
It's like Arven and Spikemouth Jim, potentially.
Let's see. The Arven might have been top decked. I'm not sure.
I mean, you can get Secret Box.
Sheesh, dude. You're right. Oh, my God.
And Secret Box can get you Spikemouth and rare candy.
Bruh.
No wonder Secret Box is played in this deck. It's just instant rare candy evolution.
The Arven was top decked for turn, so the Impidimp promote might have been like I'm trying to buy some time, and then the Arven top deck is like, oh wait, we're actually going. Yeah, no time needed. Actually, I'm in, and you don't even have to Secret Box here, because you could just retreat into the Morgrim and go right. So like
with a skateboard.
You could go get
a rescue board.
I guess, well, because if you get a Grimmsnarl, you can just retreat the active. But I guess what I'm saying is you do have to Secret Box, but you don't have to rare candy, I'm saying.
Sure.
You could decide to go, because you could get Counter Catcher with a Secret Box.
That's true.
Instead of the rare candy.
Yeah, but Counter Catcher I think is stronger.
Right, so that's what I'm saying. So you could go Secret Box, get Counter Catcher, Stadium, I don't know, and 2 other things. Like whatever else you want.
2 other things.
Yeah, bro. 2 of the other cards. Maybe a board if you play a board, so you get a free retreat. That'd be nice.
I think he might have already gotten it off the Arven, the board.
And then discarded it with the Secret Box, right?
No, I see a TM Devo, a Earthen Vessel, and I can't tell what that third card is. Maybe that is the board actually being discarded. That top card.
Yeah, the board did get discarded, I think.
That's fair, though.
See, do you see? He's got the 2 cards that I said literally anything else. I don't know. Get a supporter. Why not? Yeah.
I think he's actually out of tools, so can't get a tool off of that component.
Research,
There's
rare candy, Stadium. See, I would have liked maybe the Counter Catcher more.
It's all good.
It is all good.
Well, actually, I don't really... Well, you can knock out the Rotom guaranteed.
You can just knock out the Rotom with Monkey now.
Yeah, so you can force Sean to promote something else.
Right. Listen, Trevor's the one that's here in the finals. I'm going to let him cook.
That's facts.
Yeah, for sure. All right, we got the Spike Move, Jim. That's
Got
a
the
Marnie's
research for next
Grimmsnarl. Yep.
I mean, the nice thing about using the rare candy on this combo turn, though, is it's easier next turn to evolve the Morgrim, whereas the rare candy evolution combo is just harder to put together. So I think this is a super reasonable route. You can use the Monkey Dory to spread the damage onto that Rotom, take a knockout, and what is Sean reasonably going to promote here? Like the Hoot Hoot? Knock out the Hoot Hoot. Gladly.
Take it. Yep. Ooh, damage going on to the...
Oh, interesting.
Dude, we're ripping the... ripping the prime.
Is the counter catcher in hand?
Counter catcher's in hand, dog!
Oh.
Let's go. All right, well then the rare candy Grimmsnarl is broken.
Yeah. And last card in hand is that research.
Imagine being such a boss that you're like, yeah, I don't even need to like actually take out the teal mask here. I feel like taking out the teal mask feels correct though, right? Because you denied Jewel Seeker. I feel like
I think he's avoiding Fez because the Latios is being knocked out by the Frost Slash damage, I believe.
Really?
Yeah, it was at 20, I believe, right? So it'd go to 200 and then take Frost Lass. So I think it's reasonable. Oh, Latios is weak to dark though, so
yeah, that's I was.
And you're
I was letting you go.
That's fine. The psychic Pokemon, they could be weak to metal or something. I don't know.
Didn't take a prize. Still at 4 prizes. Didn't take the single prize yet.
Yeah, I think the Ogerpon take is just better in that case. If you're not denying, maybe he thought he was denying Raz. And
I would have preferred the Ogerpon take, but like really, I don't know, man. It's like you're talking about how to win more.
I like winning more.
I do like winning more, right?
Like and win more better.
Yeah, how to win more betterly, right? Like Trevor's already on his way to $1,000 right now, right? Like, yeah. So, but yeah, we'll see. Yeah, Grimmsnarl can win next turn. God,
isn't that nuts, dude? Just so much damage,
bro. You've got to be joking me, man. I mean, that's just obscene, right?
It is obscene.
It's like you're inviting up the teal mask. Trevor's saying, "No, I don't want to KO your teal mask because then you'll give it to me next turn for free, so that I can win." That's actually the 5D chess going on, right?
I guess so.
Yes, that's the 5-dimensional chess. Right. You will give me the teal mask. You will knock out my Grimmsnarl. I will simply evolve my Morgrim into Grimmsnarl and then monkey and take 4 prizes.
I mean, it's all lined up. Even through a bravery charm, it's lined up. Maybe that's why Trevor rounded it this way is to do that plus play around bravery charm.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, there is something to be said for like, yeah, you're just the win is going to be just so clean if you just give me this teal mask next turn.
Yeah, that is boss mode for sure.
Uh-huh. And here's a Fez.
Three more cards. And a few more damage counters for Sean to take as well.
Okay, teal mask Ogerpon making its way down. Wait. Yeah, okay, there's the one in the active. I was like, oh, there's not a terror. There is one. Okay.
And here's the crazy thing too. Sean still has to take 3 more KOs.
Oh, this is looking ugly, dude.
Yeah, you have to knock out this Grimmsnarl and then find 2 more knockouts afterwards.
Yeah, this game's looking chalked.
Before Trevor manages to put together the win here.
I know.
All your Pokemon are ticking away.
I'm telling you, dude, there's something about I did not feel comfortable playing the Leafeon. Do you see what I'm saying? I was playing Flareon against the Marnie's Grimmsnarl, and like one Leafeon was not doing it, right?
No.
And do you see now that even with like the Teal Mask Ogrepons, how like parallel, it's not doing it, right? Like
we need the picnic baskets, Andrew.
the picnic basket. The one Leafeon was not doing it, right? It was really tough to make that happen just because everything on your board is just melting. They all have abilities. They all get destroyed.
Yeah, this is... The double Frostlass, too, is just so much damage. It's actually unbelievable.
Yeah, it's nuts. It was crazy. I mean, really, seeing the results from the Marnie's Grimmsnarl deck start to roll in from Japan, you're like looking at them and you're like,
this doesn't make sense.
Really? Like, really? All right. And yep, here's a damage counter or prize take from
that's it.
Frostlass, and
that's game.
It's over, dude. It's just like so easily over. The Marnie's Grimmsnarl
just had Grimmsnarl in hand, and that
in hand, and then the hoot hoot on the bench is and it's over, and you monkey once, and it's done, and that's it. Yeah, and we're still fixing damage counters that don't matter because it's over. It's done.
I don't know why we're being so precise with these.
No, yeah. Trevor just won with 2 shadow bullets, dude. Oh. Two shadow bullets,
gosh.
Bro. Do you see what I'm saying? Leafeon did not matter, dude. I'm telling you, when I was playing the Flareon deck, Leafeon did not matter. 2 shadow bullets, and the game is over.
All it takes.
It's all it took. It doesn't matter. Even if you kill 2 Grimmsnarl, it doesn't matter, bro. It doesn't matter. You're gonna have to kill 3 to win.
Yeah, you could just let those 2 perish if you need to.
100%. They're sacrificial Grims.
I hate it when my opponent has sacrificial Grims.
Yes, dude. They're sacrificing for the greater cause of just getting an obscene amount of damage on the board.
Yeah. Yeah, the synergy with Monkey Dory is just out of this world, too.
Yeah, it is insane. You know, and I think coming away from this tournament, I mean, watching the one Marnie's Grimmsnarl deck, and like I said, I saw a lot of Marnie's Grimmsnarl towards the top, but I feel like a lot of them were playing against each other. And obviously, you know, Trevor seems to have great command over this deck and kind of understand how to route the games, how to route the wins, and is very proficient with it. But to see the one Marnie's Grimmsnarl deck making it in the top cut and then just make, you know, pretty swift work of the bolts, to make swift work of the Journey Together champ, right, it says a lot.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm picturing this right, if Trevor wins this next game, he will have won out this entire top 8.
Oh my gosh, you're right. Yes. Like dropped no games in top 8.
Yeah.
Yes. 2-0, 2-0, 2-0, dub. Yep.
I mean, that's the way to do it.
That is the way to do it. And Trevor's record is 7-0-3, by the way. So has not actually dropped a game all day. Has not dropped a best of 3 set all day.
Yeah, it's not dropped a single set. Has clearly dropped at least 3 games.
Yes. But it's not dropped a single set all day. Yeah. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. Wow.
What a storyline, Andrew.
I know, right?
Marnie's Grimmsnarl. A card that was not highly regarded when it was first revealed, but finds the path in combination with Frostlass and Monkey Dory to create this disgusting combo and deal so much damage to your opponent's board so quickly. Both players mulligan their first hand. I see a Snorunt.
And a Bundle-Rooski.
A Bundle-Rooski.
Yeah.
We did see the Bundle-Rooski in game 2 of top 8 for Trevor. I think it went completely unused, or unused for most of the game.
Completely unused.
Yeah, completely unused. Just sat on the bench and accrued damage counters from Frostlass.
Yes, I think eventually he just got sacked and died.
Yeah. It happens.
You know, I think he just stayed in the active until he died.
Yeah, it happens to the best of us. It happens to the best of us. Ooh, the fan rotom start from Sean is nice, though.
It is. Fan wrote him into Bundlerooski, though, so it's like, doesn't care.
Not a clean knockout.
No, it's not.
Which is, I guess, another benefit of playing the Bundlerooski, right?
That's what I'm saying.
Got that little bit of extra hit points required to take a hit from this Fan Rotom. You don't really want to attack for not a knockout with a Fan Rotom.
No, that would be cringe, yeah.
Just one more Monkey Dory charge.
Exactly. All right, Trevor going first in this game 2. Let's see. The box is in the hand, Riley.
The box, dude.
The box is in the hand. Yeah, you can always tell what a box is coming. I mean, look at that.
Oh my gosh,
these 4 cards coming in.
Yeah, that discard cost is steep on the secret box, but hey, if you're getting 4 cards back off of it, I don't think you're going to be too upset. Excellent opener from Trevor here. Discarding the Artisan is kind of a bummer, but you can always get another one if you really want Artisan specifically.
100%. And, why not? You could actually just go get a Spike Mooth gym if you prefer, but the turn 1 box is kind of nuts. Yeah, you're going to set yourself up for success next turn. You pretty much know Sean's not going to disrupt your hand, so you can feel pretty comfortable just setting yourself up to do whatever you want to do next turn. Even if you want to hold a couple of these cards from the box. We've got Buddy Poffit. Like the Stadium, Spike Mooth Gym, for instance, like you could hold that. I don't even necessarily want to play that because you just discarded Artisan, right? And then like you probably want to have your Stadium actually stick around for next turn.
You might have a second Artisan in hand too. I feel like this is the turn where you actually want Artisan most of all.
Yeah.
But Spike Mooth is
fine. Yeah, it's fine. Because that way you can get a second Impidimp if you want. You got the double Snow Run already down. Yeah, that feels super powerful. And then on the off chance that the Spike Mooth Gym does survive through the turn, there's a rare candy in hand, bro.
Oh my gosh. It gets the Shaman down for good measure.
The Shaman down.
Starts the Bundlerooski too.
I know, but there's no room for monkeys right now.
Well, the Bundlerooski is always a free space, right?
He is a free space.
It either gets knocked out or you can just use it. We'll have to see if Sean can put together the pieces required to win this game. Van Rotem, of course, is the second best starter probably for the deck behind Ditto.
Right? Who could become a Fan Rotom
if you wanted to. So Van Rotem, however, is certainly one of the best Pokemon to have in your opening turn if you're Sean here. However, Trevor's starting one of his few Pokemon with greater than 70 hit points. I think it's just that bundle, the Maractus and the Shaman.
Yeah.
So only 3 of his basics.
Well, and the monkeys.
Oh, and the monkeys too. Yeah, you're playing a lot of those too. 4 monkeys. What am I saying?
And the monkey. You can't. Who could forget about the monkeys?
I guess when there's no monkeys in play, out of sight, out of mind for me. But of course, yeah, you're playing the 4 Monkey Dory.
God, 4.
Got to.
4.
Got to.
God, that's so sick, dude.
Isn't it?
Yeah. Let me just peruse the list real quick. I'm gonna soak this in. Yeah. Goodness gracious. Yeah, that's a broken deck right there.
It is a broken deck. Sean going in with the Earthen Vessel, going to start powering up his Teal Mask Ogerpon more than likely. Get some energy into play. And with the Fighting Lightning grab, it makes me think maybe there's a Sada route here to start getting aggressive. Shaman is on the bench, so you don't have that easy Sada attach, knock out the Snorunt, for example. Unless you have a Prime Catcher as well, which would be pretty intense.
All right, here we go. Teal Dance on the Teal Mask Ogerpon.
It's a grass energy off the Teal Dance.
What else do we got going on here? Anything
Ultra
of
Ball.
substance. Yes, an Ultra Ball is fine. We know that there is a Shaman, not a Shaman.
Squawk.
Goodness, what format am I in? There's a Squawkabilly EX in the deck.
Oh, I really don't think you want to bench that.
Absolutely not, Riley. That would be horrendous. But like, what if it's just what if it's like a hand like we saw last round with all Carter's like just pure energy hands?
I don't think it's a hand quite like that. Though there are quite a few energy.
Uh-huh.
But there's no gold cards, Andrew, so they don't clump.
That's so true.
Got to consider that.
That's true. It's true.
Yeah, it's just going to be a Raging Bolt.
All right, that's fine. Yeah, I do think that it already seems like this matchup can be tough for Bolt, but if you go and throw a Squawkabilly EX into the mix, yeah, it's super over before it even started.
Yeah. I mean, that thing will just get eaten alive by the Frostlass damage counters and the Monkey Dories. We're going to see the Assault Landing. I don't know if I love using Assault Landing here, but I guess there's no space for a monkey.
Right.
On the flip side, you can always clear this damage bundle off the board, too, just by using its ability.
Exactly. I mean, you've got both of those options available. Is this the... Yeah, it's literally to... Arvin doesn't even have to research. Instead, it's just going to go for Arvin.
Yeah, I'm thinking I'll get a rare candy here. Maybe, honestly, even like TM Evo doesn't sound terrible.
No, and I'm thinking that's what's going to happen. I mean, literally, the rare candy Grimmsnarl is like here. But I don't know that Trevor wants to do that.
Yeah, TM Evo.
Yeah. Then I'd rather just chill. Yeah. Let you take the lead. Right. Get my Bundle Rooski out of here.
Well, so
get a Morgrim. I like this.
Yeah, you can get a Morgrim and double Frostlass.
And get double Frostlass and say your go, bud.
That's scary.
Well, that's the thing about the Marnie's Grimmsnarl deck is it plays 3 counter catcher, right? So you're like, go ahead. Like
he's playing like chicken right now because he got the counter catcher off the Arvid.
I know.
Like, take a knockout.
You're like, literally, go ahead, dude. And if you don't do anything, my Frostlasses will just eat you.
And they'll also eat my Iron Bundle, too. So counter catcher's coming up.
It's coming up regardless.
Even if you knock out one of the Frostlass, I'll still get rid of the bundle, which I guess is like the worst case scenario for Trevor.
God, that's hilarious, dude.
Yeah, this bundle is getting removed for sure.
Yeah. It's crazy, man. The lines
go crazy.
The lines, bro.
All empowered by that Frostlass. And this is another game where we see Trevor really prioritize getting that double Frostlass out as quickly as possible with cards like TM Evo.
All right, we've got Teal Dance. And that will net Sean a card, get another grass energy into play. You would think, you would just think, right? You would think. You would look at this matchup, Riley, and you would say, oh yeah, Marnie's Grimmsnarl just gets slayed by Teal Mask Ogrepon. Easy dubskis. No, dude. No, because Marnie's Grimmsnarl plays this kind of sit and chill vibe. This is how the deck plays, right?
Yeah.
You don't go aggro with the Marnie's Grimmsnarl. Let them do something stupid, like take a single knockout. And then, while you just kind of like poke around at their board with Frostlass and maybe Badoo if you're feeling it or whatever. And then you pounce. You get to the inevitable pounce. And then every time you pounce, it's basically over from there.
It's basically over. So true.
Like, you go Grimmsnarl counter catcher, and your opponent's probably losing that game.
Yeah. Sean trying to piece together how he can win this game. Grabs that prime catcher. And, I mean, there's lots of interesting options on Trevor's bench to target down. Could go for that Morgrim. Could go for a Frostlass. Try and reduce the amount of damage taken every turn. I think I like that, personally. Get the Frostlass, and the bundle should still be knocked out by the other Frostlass. So you get a 2-prize take for relatively low investment. Does cost your prime catcher, but you don't need to... There's not that many appealing Gust targets besides the Frostlass. And the bundle's definitely not an appealing target to swing into.
No, right? It's already going down.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you do want to take out something else. I definitely agree with this prime catcher play here. Let the bundle go down. And then, the Fan Rotom can't knock out the Morgrem. No, so it's probably impotent.
Well, the Teal Mask could take a knockout, but then you have a Teal Mask in the active.
It's like then you don't even have to play counter catcher.
But there's no Latias right now, so you can't easily prime catcher and use Fan Rotom.
Right. All right, here's the Area Zero under depths.
That is nice.
Sean.
That is nice. The Spike Move is going to be so much value if Trevor's able to use it another turn.
Yeah, dude. And that's the thing, going for a Frostlass. Okay,
and doing it with the Raging Bolt.
That is a 2-prize take, right? Because Frostlass does knock out the bundle on the bench. So, Sean going up 2 prizes. But, we'll see what kind of Havoc's about to get wreaked.
Sean going up 2 prizes. Being on even is nice as well.
Yes.
Keeps 2 energy as well on the Raging Bolt. Raging Bolt not really under threat of being KO'd.
No. And now Trevor has room for Monkey Dory.
Does have room for Monkey Dory. Would love to see another Snorunt come back down. Only plays 2/2, so would need to play a Super Rod or a Night Stretcher to access that Snorunt line again.
Yeah, we know Trevor's got the research in hand. There's also a Rare Candy and a Counter Catcher, which are both, I think, going to be useless here because Trevor was really kind of waiting to maybe use the Rare Candy in case there was a situation with the stadium again. But now no stadium. Yeah, it's gonna be energy to Morgrem and a research and
attachment to a Morgrem is interesting.
Gotta see a couple things. Oh, here's the Grimmsnarl, so I think you're good.
Yeah, you deny yourself your Monkey Dory by attaching for turn there.
Yes, you do. So that was interesting. We'll probably be fine.
Yeah, I think the Monkey Dory spread is actually pretty useful to get online a little bit sooner if you can. So denying that option hurts at least a little bit.
But the one of Energy Switch, dude.
That's true. The one of Energy Switch, you'd have to hit it like this turn.
The one of
to really matter.
The one of E-Switch, dude.
I guess you can always get more monkeys off than maybe your opponent's expecting with the E-Switch.
All right, this gotta feel like a precarious place for Trevor to be in, right?
It is. I mean, Sean's on even prizes.
Yeah.
So that's pretty nice. That said, Trevor does choose when multi-prize Pokemon enter the field. And this is why you see cards like Pheasantipity being willingly excluded from these Grimmsnarl decks. A, because their benches naturally go wide. I mean, we've seen Trevor get bench locked multiple times.
Oh, yeah.
But also, you have complete control over how many 2-prizers you have on the board.
100%.
And Pheasantipity and relying on it to draw just removes that option from you. Right now, if Sean takes a knockout, he'll be at 2 prizes, but nothing is forcing Trevor to evolve his next Grimmsnarl.
No, he could wait turns. And we've seen he could pull a rabbit out of a hat, Riley. I mean, we could just go Maractus. I don't know. We could finagle something with that. You can finagle something with Badoo, Item Lock, Iono to low hand size. I mean, there's a whole bunch of different options. There's a lot of ways to win as the Grimmsnarl deck.
And that's the best place to be, Andrew, having a lot of ways to win.
There's a lot of ways to win, dude, from what I've seen.
I mean, we could see something even just simple like a Iono Badoo.
Yep.
It's totally reasonable here.
I think the Monkey Dory need to get hit by Frostlass, right? Monkey Dory, Frostlass between turns. Monkey Dory and the Frostlass. Hello. All right. Nope.
All right. Well, we're gonna make sure that those
the phone
monkey dories get damaged on that frost last. That damage, honestly, it's more beneficial to Trevor to do it than not. There's more counters to have access to.
Hello. The walkie doesn't seem to be working. Trevor's monkeys need damage counters on them from Frostlass. All right, solved.
All right, problem resolved. All is well. Anyway, Sean's game plan is going to be the same as it would have been otherwise, and that's to take that knockout. Going down to 2 prizes left. I'm promoting the Shaman here. Interesting choice. Maybe just
more damage
counters.
It. Yes. do the damage counters. More damage counters. More damage counters.
Potentially sacrificing the Shaman here.
Okay. And it's the crazy thing is that like 4 prizes is just like way too reachable from the sports day right now. Still. Like it just still really
my gosh,
is,
here it is
dude.
too.
The energy switch?
Yep.
Yep, dude. It's still super reachable, right? Because you've got like the inevitability of the Fan Rotom and the Noctowl with the inevitability of the Raging Bolt eventually dying. Like, there's your 4.
Yeah, really all Trevor has to do.
So little.
All Trevor has to do here is make sure he has an Impidimp ready to evolve.
Yeah.
And that should be enough, really.
Yep, going to be a Self Iono to 4. You've already got 1 Impidimp down. It would be nice to get a Morgrim. It would be nice to get another Impidimp to hit the bench. It is asking a lot off Iono to 4. But, you know, those are the things you're really looking for. So,
and if at any point Trevor steals a turn here, he should be able to just turn that over into a win, I think.
Yeah, the Artisan, pretty key. I would say that feels very good. And it's looking like Maractus is actually getting chosen over.
I don't know if he has access to another Impidimp.
Okay, so yeah, because it's only 3 Impidimp, you're right. So,
yeah. But I think is the better choice.
I agree, because it's got free retreat. So you could just choose what you want to do, especially with putting Artisan in play. You know, you could potentially just decide, based on what your opponent does, you could decide like what to go get next turn after the Shaman goes down. We got a couple Monkey Dory plays.
If the Shaman goes down, granted.
I guess.
Knockout's not on board right now, and Sean does not have access to Noctowl.
No.
It was just Iono to a 2-card hand.
Right, and this is not the typical standard matchup where you're getting like Iona to 2, like, okay, I'll Fez.
No Fez.
No Fez, bro. No Fez.
Yeah, you wish. You wish there was a Fez.
No Fez. No Fez for you. And see, and this is what makes this board state so strong, right? You just pump the brakes. You're like, okay.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, so Sean has no way to win this turn. Best possible play, I guess, bossing the Impidimp?
Right.
But there's not really a good way to do that while also having energy available to you for the next turn.
No, there's not, Riley. No, there's not. And it's like, okay, you're just looking at the board. You're like, all right, that Fan Rotom's toast if the Frostlass doesn't get knocked out. Then you've got a fully powered up Monkey ready to put 3 more. So the active is toast. I mean, basically, it's like if Sean were to just knock out the active with Raging Bolt this turn, all Trevor needs is Grimmsnarl win, basically.
Yeah.
That's literally it. It would be Grimmsnarl win.
Yep, the Monkey Dories will be able to clear off the benched Pokemon that have damage counters on them and secure.
All right,
that win.
and this is it. I mean, Sean goes to 1 prizes, and like I said, it is literally a Grimmsnarl, and this is the tournament, folks. The entire tournament, the 1K, gets to set it here. 1 prize off of the fan Rotom kicking it.
And honestly, Andrew, you could even do something a little cheeky, like counter catcher up the baby Raging Bolt.
Yep. And item lock it.
Yeah.
And just say, like, okay, I'm going to give myself the time to cook up this win con. It's looking like an Iono to 1. I don't think there's no rare candy Grimmsnarl in this hand, Riley. So Grimmsnarl is just win, but I don't think there's a research. If there was a research, maybe we would see, you go for it. But
you can draw a couple extra cards by using your Monkey Dory to take a prize.
After the Iono, you would probably want to do that.
Yes.
Yeah. Artisan
unless
first.
You know that like your prizes are
a piece
stacked.
Yes.
Like
rare candy is in deck. There's one. I think the other one got discarded. And
it was discarded earlier.
Secret box is already down. And I got to see what Trevor wants to do as a supporter action for turn.
Does he have Iono in hand already?
Does, yes.
Okay, yeah. Iono to 1 is pretty good. And
with
again,
no
Sean
Terra
has no
in play.
Terras.
Yes, no Terra in play.
Lacks any of those obvious outs. Does not play him UEX either, so no like quick draws.
There's a Devo TM. Yeah, you're probably sacking that. You don't care.
Sure.
It's an Arvin or an Iono. It looks like Iono is the card getting played. Trevor's going to get 3 to Sean's 1. Okay, and what do we see? It's rare candy Arvin in hand.
So now you could knock out the Noctowl. Do you risk that?
Right, because you do risk Fez. I feel like you don't. Iono to 1, pass. Well, like Badoo, right? I feel like you don't risk knocking out the knockdown. No, that's way too risky.
The problem is without countercatcher, Sada or Crispin is game. Or energy. Lightning energy, specifically.
It's true. But knocking out the knockdown doesn't make you any closer to that not being win.
No, but you could draw an out off your prizes. And just win. If you have an out in your prizes.
Artisan. All right, no windmill slam here, so...
Oh, this is going to really come down to it, Andrew.
Dude, I mean, it's Arvin, Rare Candy are in hand. So long as Ultra Ball is in the deck, there is only one. So long as Ultra Ball is in the deck, then Trevor wins, right? Because there is Arvin, Rare Candy in the hand.
And another card to discard, right?
And another card, you could get another tool off of Arvin.
Well, I think all of his tools are down.
You're right, yes. So, but there is one other card in the hand, right? So you would top deck X, yep, and then you've got Arvin +1 plus Rare Candy in hand, yes. Yep. So Trevor does have win in hand.
Yeah, and Sean does not. And Sean does not.
No, this is like a grass energy.
It's just Burst Roar.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Oh.
And the monkeys.
Shivers, man.
Dude, it's happening, man.
Disgusting.
Oh, and an extra knockout from prizes between turns with the Frostlass. Oh. 2 prizes left to take, bro. It's too easy, man.
And it's all right there,
It's
Andrew.
all right here, bro. Why was it so easy?
Oh my goodness gracious.
Dude, it's messed up, man.
Okay, drawing for turn.
Yep.
A good clean fight here.
And Arvin, so long as Ultra Ball is in the deck, this is it. Show me the Ultra Ball. There it is, Riley.
Wow.
Show me the Grimmsnarl. It could also be Night Stretcher, right?
Night Stretcher. Yeah, Night Stretcher would work. You do need to have enough energies.
Yes, you do have to have enough energies.
There's Arvin, one in hand.
Yep, Arvin for just Ultra Ball. And here it goes. Trevor about to earn that $1,000 right here. Rare Candy into Marnie's Grimmsnarl EX. Punk up ability to accelerate a dark from the deck.
Force him to show it.
Too dark, and that is it. Shadow Bullet for game and a 2-0 in the finals from Trevor Passmore with his Marnie's Grimmsnarl EX deck. Absolutely fantastic, Riley. What a show.
Andrew, that was insane. And Trevor's whole run was insane here in top 8. 6 games played by Trevor in top 8. 2-0 win, 2-0 win, 2-0 win with the newly released Marnie's Grimmsnarl. I mean, the script writes itself.
Yeah, dude. I mean, couldn't have asked for a better set of games, really. A new deck, new archetype being shown off, going the distance all the way to a finals victory. The newest archetype from Destined Rivals. And we could see the hype of his friends there. Oh, just what an awesome run. Congratulations again to Trevor on a win with a brand new deck from Destined Rivals on the release weekend 3K. I mean, that's the script that you want. I mean, if I could write a script, this is the one I would write.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, great stuff from Trevor. Awesome gameplay. And congrats as well, of course, to Sean. Taking home $700 is nothing too shabby for a day of Pokemon cards. But man, Marnie's Grimmsnarl was really impressive in Top Cut, Andrew.
Yes, it was, Riley. I mean, just watching those boards melt away was kind of a surreal experience, right? Like it was happening way too fast. It was happening way too easily.
Scary.
The Marnie's Grimmsnarl deck wasn't really like, like having to do much. It was just doing enough. It was always enough between the monkeys and the Frostlass and like the occasional Shadow Bullet. It was always enough.
Yeah, it's just so crazy how quickly the damage can rack up,
Dude.
especially when you have 2 Frostlass in play. Oh my goodness, watching those Noctowls get their faces melted off.
Just absolutely devastating, dude. It was incredible. It was incredible. Well, I am going to see if we can get Trevor up here for a winner's interview real quick before we sign off for the night. So hold on tight here, folks, real fast. I'll go run down and talk to Trevor. Try to pull him up here in the studio to sign off for us and tell us about his tournament run and his time playing the Marnie's Grimmsnarl deck. And then, of course, we also have got the Gym Leader Challenge $3,000 cash Destined Rivals event happening here tomorrow. So if you've enjoyed today's stream so far, we are going to be running it back with another awesome 3K tomorrow. Just a Destined Rivals Pokemon extravaganza here in Akron today.
So much fun here at Full Grip Games. And we'll be right back with, hopefully, a winner's interview with Trevor.
Yep, we'll be right back, folks. 2-1. All right, here we are. Welcome back, folks. I am here with your 3K victor, Trevor Passmore. Congratulations, Trevor. What made you want to play Marnie's Grimmsnarl for the tournament today?
It was actually a really exciting deck. I love spread archetypes, and having Grimmsnarl come out, I was excited to play it. I hadn't ever played it in paper before, only on PTCG Live, so it was a bit of a learning curve to get down all the dice. I was still screwing it up at the end, but figured it out well enough to
For sure. Oh, yeah. I mean, you didn't drop a single set throughout the tournament today. I think you were 5-0-3 going into top 8, and then 2-0'd everybody. Top 8, top 4, and finals here. So an incredible run. You said you'd logged some games with it on the Pokemon Trading Card Game Live. Do you think that played a role in your ability to perform with the deck today?
Yeah, I certainly struggled even more prior to that. So certainly helpful to have a few reps with it.
Excellent. And are you local here, or where are you from?
Actually, I'm coming from Medford, Wisconsin. It's in
awesome.
the middle of Wisconsin. Met some friends in Madison, and we drove together.
Excellent. So are there any friends that maybe you traveled with, or people that you'd like to shout out for your victory today?
Yeah, Lion and Sam are who I drove with. Lion also was in the top 8, so it was pretty sweet. We got some money to pay the tolls on the way back home.
I'd say, yep. And are you guys going to be going to the North American International Championships, or do you guys you traveled all the way here from Wisconsin, so do you guys attend regionals as friends, or have you gone to any of those kind of level tournaments, or what are you guys?
Yeah. We
what's your vibe as a TCG group? Yeah,
we have a bigger group all from the Madison area, really the Gamers Library store where we all met and started playing locals, and we went to Milwaukee regionals most recently, but are hoping to go to even more next year, make more of a run at Worlds. Not going to NAIC this year, unfortunately, just wasn't able to with work. But
for sure,
that was some of the impetus of making sure we got here. It was just to make sure we got to scratch that itch of playing Pokemon TCG.
That's really sweet. That's really cool to hear. Well, I'm really excited that you guys came out. Obviously, you had a great run traveling here from Wisconsin, and both you and your buddy Lion in top 8, you taking it all home with the brand new deck, Marnie's Grimmsnarl EX. Just a huge congratulations, Trevor. Really happy for you. Anything else you want to say before we sign off today, or you want to go enjoy that $1,000 and maybe get some rest?
Definitely could use some rest.
All right, man. Well, congratulations again.
Appreciate it.
And thank you all for watching our tournaments today. I'm going to be signing off for the day. An amazing turnout, 129 players, and Trevor, your tournament champion, with the $1,000 grand prize courtesy of Full Grip Games here in Akron, Ohio. We're going to be running it all back with another $3,000 cash tournament tomorrow, except we're playing the Gym Leader Challenge format. Make sure to tune in. Riley and I will be casting the entire day starting at about 9:45 Eastern Time. I'll see you all.